Chapter 1333. Jojo, Female Emperor. Chapter 1333. Jojo, Female Emperor. Great Wilderness Abyss. Long Fei's hands tensed up. He felt his strength and said faintly, "I've recovered more or less." It was also at this time. Short-hair woman walked into the room and said, "Come out, let's go to the altar." Long Fei did not resist. He followed the short-hair woman out and said, "Who do you worship? Which god?" The short-hair woman's voice turned cold and said, "If you still want to live, you absolutely cannot ask this kind of question in the future. We don't believe in gods. We believe in female emperors." Female emperors? Long Fei's heart trembled and thought, seems like he really is an outsider. As long as he does not believe in main temple's gods, it will be fine. Long Fei didn't want the main temple to find out that he was still alive. Otherwise, if the destiny god came to deliver a fate judgment, he really wouldn't be able to hold on. Even with the resurrection ring, he wouldn't be able to do it. Long Fei followed the short-hair woman out slowly. This place was very simple and crude. There were only a few caves, and they were very primitive and unadorned. However, the sky was a little different. It was not dark, nor was it blue sky, but a scarlet-red sky. This was not the sky, but the barrier that engulfed Long Fei. What is it? Is this a secret world? Long Fei kept thinking. At this moment, short-hair woman said lightly, "We're here." He then reminded her in a low voice, "Just do what Big Sis wants you to do. This is good for you. Don't ever try to resist, or your life won't be saved." Long Fei nodded lightly. Wang, Wang, Wang. The dozens of women around the altar prostrated themselves on the ground. The altar was glowing with a red light, and the woman in red was mumbling something as power constantly surged into the altar from her body. This was a special kind of sacrifice to the heavens. Long Fei had never seen it before. Moreover, the power emitted from their bodies, the ideas were all a type of special power, a negative power. Their auras gave Long Fei a very familiar feeling. There was a mark on the top of each of their heads. Long Fei felt that he had seen this imprint somewhere before. It was a very familiar feeling. Sacrifice. The woman in red's voice sank. Short-hair woman immediately said, "Go to the altar." Long Fei was thinking about what kind of familiar energy aura was this, and what were these imprints on his forehead. Long Fei walked up the stage. Standing on the arena, looking down from above, the woman in red's voice sank. "Give me your divine blood." Short-hair woman looked at Long Fei and said, "Concentrate your blood essence." Long Fei hesitated. Short-hair woman said, "Hurry." Long Fei moved, and a drop of blood essence condensed out. He thought to himself, "I want to see what kind of god the both of you worship." A drop of blood essence fell down. In an instant, the bodies of those kneeling on the altar began to tremble violently. The lady in red's countenance trembled as well. The entire altar was shaking as well. This force was incomparably powerful. The lady in red's eyes shone with a bright light. She was secretly excited. After that, the idea rushed towards the altar. Boom! A flash of red light soared straight into the sky, just like a laser breaking through the darkness. Short-hair woman could not help but say, "What a strong power of the blood vein." There was also a glimmer of hope in her eyes. But at this moment, the crimson barrier in the sky suddenly moved. Rumble, rumble, a deafening explosion. "Honey, don't you dare escape my control." Then a red light flashed and fell. The two gigantic red armor warriors landed on the altar. Wielding their blood-colored wild blades, they slashed forward. Shwa! The speed was too fast for the woman in red to react. The two red armored demon warriors chopped off the heads of the two women. Little Qing, Short-hair woman's eyes were filled with anger. He jumped down from the altar, released his long blade, and slashed forward. She stared at Long Fei, and then looked towards the scarlet barrier in the sky, as she said, "Red Devil, don't think you can stop me this time." Buzz. The red-clothed female moved, and directly jumped onto the altar, and stared at Long Fei. Again. Grab Long Fei's arm. Long Fei moved his strength and dodged it. "I've already let go of the blood. You won't want my life, right?" The lady in red's expression shook as she asked, "Your seal?" Long Fei said, "It's already been undone. Just a mere seal. Do you think it can stop me?" The woman in red's face became anxious as she said, "I don't have time to explain. I beg you, just one more drop of blood essence. Then we can break through the defense and obtain the female emperor's summons. We can return home." Not waiting for her to finish, the red devil's voice shook. "Wah! Go home. Red-clothed, don't even think about it in this life. Still trying to go home? It seems that if I don't teach you a lesson today, you would have already forgotten the methods of my red devil." Boom! His voice sank, and a blood-red long braid was drawn out. Pa! It accurately whipped the back of the red-clothed disciple's body. The whip was so deep that the skin and flesh were split open, and even the bones were visible. This whip was incomparably vicious. "Big sister! Big sister!" All the girls were startled. They suddenly stood up, and the entire altar began to tremble. The ceremony was interrupted, and the red light also began to tremble. The woman in red immediately shouted, "Don't worry about me. You can continue. I'm fine." "Aha! Ha!" Another round of laughter rang out in the sky. "Are you all right? It's fine. I'll continue then." Pa, pa, pa. As the whip and whip violently lashed out, the woman in red's back was in a mess of blood and gore. Long Fei's heart erupted with anger. The idea moved. Main artifact, dragon coffin form. Buzz. The golden cudgel instantly recovered back to its dragon coffin state. Long Fei controlled the idea. "Lock onto the target. I will blast you to death with a cannon." Release the main gun. With the target locked on, he would definitely die without the defense of the main artifact. However, the prerequisite was that it had to be locked on. In this instant, Long Fei basically did not see a target, and the main gun simply could not lock onto it. Long Fei cursed angrily in his heart. "Ha ha ha." The red devil laughed wildly and said, "Brat, you want to go against me? Red clothes. Are you delusional enough to want to return to the Phoenix Mountain? You still dream of obtaining the power of the female emperor? Let me tell you, you won't be able to think about it for the rest of your life. And Phoenix Mountain. Are there still Phoenix Mountainess? Your Phoenix clan's female empress might not even exist in this world anymore. Ha ha ha. We, the magic tribe, have won this war." The red devil began to laugh maniacally. Long Fei roared, "I said before, if you have any abilities, come at me. Come on. If you have the guts, then blast me to death. Red devil, you trashy trash, you dare to attack Lousy." Long Fei scolded loudly. He had some doubts in his heart and thought to himself, why are these women of the Phoenix clan so weak? His physical body did not have the slightest bit of defense. It was like slicing a cabbage. Other than short-hair woman, all of them were weak. Even the red-dressed woman was the same. "You, Humph, since you are in a hurry to be reborn, then I shall fulfill your wish." The red devil's power moved, locked onto Long Fei with its power, and fiercely smashed down. Boom, boom, boom. A heavy force exploded right above Long Fei's head. Long Fei's body abruptly sank, feeling incomparable discomfort. However, the other members of the Phoenix clan, were not harmed. Long Fei roared out and said, "Quickly hide in the cave." All of the women's expressions changed. The woman in red immediately reacted. Everyone quickly enter the cave. Long Fei straightened his body from his new position and said, "Is that all you have? If you have the guts, you could get stronger." The red devil flew into a rage and attacked with an even more powerful force. Long Fei did not defend at all and laughed. "Come on, come, let's see how strong your strength is." Boom, boom. Poochie. Long Fei sprayed out a mouthful of blood, bared his bloody teeth, and said, "Ha ha ha, is that all? Are you a fart? You don't even have a body? No wonder your strength is so weak. What use do you think you have? You can't even kill me while I'm standing here." The red devil was even more furious, as if Long Fei had mentioned his sore spot. An even more powerful force blasted down. Die, die. His strength was very strong. Long Fei didn't know how much longer he could endure, but he had to expose the red devil's body. Only by doing this would he be able to kill him. Otherwise, it would be impossible. "Big sister, what is he doing? Why is he doing this?" Seeing Long Fei's body drenched in blood, they simply couldn't understand what Long Fei was trying to do. The woman in red shook her head. Looking at the new round of red lightning bolts, short-hair woman took a step forward and blocked it. After continuously striking down the lightning bolts, he grabbed Long Fei and said, "Let's go." Long Fei didn't move and still laughed loudly. "Red devil, so you really are a piece of sh*t. You don't even have a body? Ha ha. No wonder you don't have the strength. Did you see that? Even a woman could easily shatter your power. You think a piece of trash like you can kill me? Is your brain filled with water? Ah." The red devil was completely enraged. Short-hair woman's face changed greatly as he said, "Let's go quickly. The red devil has revealed its true form. We are doomed. Die. All of you, die." The voice was filled with burning rage. Next, the scarlet boundary in the sky sunk and turned into a huge body. He was the great demon king with an extremely ugly body. Ancient red devil. At this moment, Long Fei's eyes turned tight. Fuck, its purple light is too dazzling. It's a purple light that's stronger than a boss. Ha ha ha. It's easy with your body. Ding. Target locked. Chapter 1335. Water God Treasure. Chapter 1335. Water God Treasure. Ding. Target locked. After revealing his true body, without even thinking, Long Fei locked onto it with his cannon. "I'm just afraid that if you don't come out the moment you come out." Ha ha. The corner of Long Fei's mouth curved into a sinister smile, and he said, "Come out. I'll blast you to death with a cannon." "Kill me? Lowly thing. You think you're worthy?" The red devil gave a disdainful sneer. Its ugly face was even uglier when it smiled, so ugly that no one could look at it straight on. The red devil roared, its power surging as it slapped the top of Xiang Longfei's head. "Die!" Long Fei sneered. The main gun on his shoulder pulled the trigger and shot out as though it was a rocket launcher. Boom! Putting away the main gun, he turned back confidently and walked towards the lady in red, without even looking at the red devil that was smacked down. In the short-hair woman, the lady in red looked at him in shock and said, "Back, back." Long Fei smiled, opened his fist, and said, "Pong." At this moment, the main gun behind him exploded, striking the red devil's body, producing a huge sound. Rumble! The red devil did not react at all. Its body was instantly turned into powder. Lock on, instant kill. This was the main gun. Unless he had a defensive main artifact like Zhan Wushuang. But how many people in this world could have a main artifact? The scene was incomparably shocking. It was also at this moment Long Fei laughed again and said secretly, "Ding!" The system sounded out, causing Long Fei's heart to move, as he muttered, "Activate striking energy value." Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Red Devil for obtaining 890,000 experience, 80,000 holy source points, 10 energy values points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Red Devil. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Star Moon Sword. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Red Devil Boundary. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. The system continuously rang out. The items dropped by the purple light boss were all god-tier items. However, Long Fei's current focus was on going berserk. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for releasing Level 1 Berserk. Please choose your Domain Treasure Series, Water God Treasure Series, Heavenly Court Series, Game Series, Animation Series. A series of options appeared in Long Fei's mind. Choose one you haven't chosen this time. Level 1 Berserk. Try your luck. Long Fei moved. Choose the Water God Treasure Series. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Scatter Seeds, which become Solidar's technique. Do you wish to cultivate it? Huh. Damn. Scatter Seeds, which become Solidars. Your sister, do you have to be so fierce? The pattern drawn on their foreheads was also that of a female emperor. How could this not cause them to be excited? The red-clothed female looked at Long Fei, and her expression became incomparably excited. She originally had only knelt down on one knee, but now she kneeled down once again and said with a heavy voice, "This disciple does not know your relationship with the female emperor. I hope that you can forgive me." Female emperor imprint. It's really Jojo? Long Fei's heart froze for a moment. Then he immediately went forward to support the red-clothed female. "Don't say that you're not guilty. I've come here to find out how to revive her." Long Fei looked at the lady carvings on the totem stones and thought to himself, "Jojo, is that you?" The red-clothed female said, "Phoenix rebirth. After refining the heart of Phoenix, it can only wait for another revival. There is only one condition to revive." Long Fei asked, "What conditions?" As long as Jojo was revived, he would do it no matter how difficult the conditions were. The woman in red faintly said, "Return to your nest." The phoenix has returned to its nest. Long Fei was startled and asked, "What do you mean?" The red-clothed female said, "Have the heart of Phoenix return to the Phoenix Mountain and wait for the power of heaven to revive." Long Fei said, "You want me to go to Phoenix Mountain?" The red-clothed female said, "This is the only way to revive her master. Since this heart of Phoenix has a female emperor's imprint, then she must be very important. Maybe she is the female emperor. So I humbly request for Master to go to Phoenix Realm." Chapter 1336, Phoenix Realm. Chapter 1336, Phoenix Realm. Return to the nest and revive. This was the second step of the SSS rank quest. At this moment, Long Fei practically did not hesitate at all and said, "If we go to the Phoenix Realm, let alone going to the Phoenix Realm, even if he went to hell with mountains of blades and seas of fire, Long Fei would definitely not even bat an eyelid. Jojo was too important to him. The first person who came to this world to know him. The first person who was good to him." The lady in red looked at the altar and said, "Sacrifice the heavens for power. If you are related to the female emperor, I believe that she will definitely be able to sense us with your blood essence and will definitely be able to summon us back to the Phoenix Realm. Let's go." Long Fei leapt onto the altar, moved his blood essence, and once again landed on the altar. The red-clothed female looked at Long Fei and said faintly, "Phoenix Clan members, listen up. Begin offering sacrifices to the heavens." At this moment, The brows of those people tightened slightly. Short-haired woman walked over to the red-clothed female and said in a low voice, "Big sister, even if the female emperor has released her summoning power, she can only bring one person back. Then, This was something all the Phoenix clansmen knew. The red-clothed female could only return to Phoenix Mountain to open the tunnel, but now, without any hesitation, the red-clothed elder sister said, "The sacrifice begins." In the past, she did not know about her mission on the Chaos Realm, but now she knew that it was to wait for Long Fei, for this female emperor insignia. This was all part of the female emperor's plan. Even if she couldn't return to the Phoenix Realm in her lifetime, she didn't care as long as she could accomplish her mission as a female emperor. Sacrifice to the heavens. Pray. As the red-clothed female's voice fell, she let out a heavy shout and turned towards the Phoenix race as she began to sacrifice the heavens. As Long Fei's blood essence fell onto the altar, a red light shot into the sky. For a time, the 9 heavens were in an uproar. The power of the Phoenix clan blended into the altar, and Long Fei looked up into the sky while holding the heart of Phoenix in his hand and muttered, "Jojo, no matter what, I will definitely let you live again, definitely." In that instant, the red light shone brightly and immediately enveloped Long Fei. Finally, a strong light flashed, and Long Fei's body was sucked into the strong light, instantly disappearing from the altar. In another place, Xian Yuan sword sect. How preposterous! Chen Xuanzong was enraged and bellowed, "A mere savage beast, you haven't even evolved properly. You dare oppose me? Is he courting death? Sect master, we must not let Wu Xiong's death go so easily. If he wants to challenge the dignity of our Xian Yuan sword sect, he must not let it go." Black Flame had seized the opportunity to enter, heavily injuring the 3 great saint, and also causing a change in the situation, which had been in a stalemate for thousands of years. The situation had just begun. Phoenix Old Woman looked at Long Fei, and his brows tightened. "Wait!" Black Flame immediately shouted as he looked at Long Fei with a playful expression, and said with a cold smile, "I only know that your Phoenix clan is filled with women. How did you summon a man? Could it be that this was bred by your Phoenix race?" Phoenix Old Woman said, "Black Flame, shut up." She wasn't sure about that either. Logically speaking, it should have been the Phoenix race that had activated the Heavens sacrifice ceremony. So why did it suddenly turn into a man? It doesn't make sense. Hei Yen laughed in ridicule, not paying attention to Phoenix Old Woman in the slightest, and said, "Little bastard, since you are Phoenix Realm's reinforcements, show me your strength. Someone, come. Let's see what this little bastard's cultivation is like. Let's see what kind of power our powerful rescuer has that can save the Phoenix Realm." Black Flame sneered. Long Fei was very unhappy with his words. As soon as Black Flame's voice fell, in the Black Flame's army behind him, a warrior wearing red armor landed heavily. He pointed his long spear at Long Fei and laughed coldly. "You little bastard, come out and die." The space between Phoenix Old Woman's eyebrows deepened as he said, "Black Flame, this is our war. Old Granny, after fighting for so many years, even if you don't want to bother me, you should just let this little bastard perform for a bit to relieve his fatigue. Let me see how strong your Phoenix Realm's reinforcements are." Black Flame laughed loudly. "Attack!" The red armor warrior shot out his sleigh and quickly rushed forward. Long Fei's brows knitted, and his right hand shook. "Golden Cudgel, come!" Chapter 1338. Yang Jian, greetings, Lord. Chapter 1338. Yang Jian, greetings, Lord. The voice was deep, and even the flame was raging. "Humiliate your father. If it doesn't blow up your ass, then I'll let you down." With a shake of his right hand, the golden cudgel landed in his hand and started buzzing loudly. Phoenix Old Woman's eyebrows twitched as he said, "Black Flame, this is not the place for you to play." Boom! His body moved, and Phoenix Old Woman's body directly grabbed towards the Red Devil Warrior. At this moment, Black Flame's figure moved and blocked the attack. "Rumble!" Black Flame sneered. "Old woman, what's the rush? Just let the reinforcements you've summoned help us. It's so good. Kill them all. Remember, don't kill him instantly. We have to give the Phoenix race some face. We have to use at least 2 moves. Do you understand?" "Ha ha ha." Black Hot laughed out loud. To him, Long Fei was just a piece of trash, to be able to be suppressed by the Phoenix Realm's ancient code power. It was obvious that this person's level of cultivation was lower than the Phoenix Realm's. No matter how strong a warrior from the lower realms was, they were not a match for him. He could easily crush them. He wanted to borrow Long Fei's power to attack the 5 sages of the Phoenix. Any one of these attacks could be fatal to the powerhouse. This was the best opportunity for Black Flame. Long Fei was not here to save Phoenix Realm, but to help him. Today is the last day for your Phoenix Realm. Once I master the Phoenix Nirvanic Rebirth art, I will be able to charge into the ancient holy battlefield. That will be my world, and that will be my true battlefield. Boom. The power was as ferocious as thunder as it heavily struck out. Phoenix Old Woman was blocked by the Black Flames. Even if she wanted
Congratulations
to,
Long
player,
Fei had
Long
no
Fei
choice.
for killing
Moreover,
Red Armored Devil
in her
Warrior
heart,
for obtaining
she also looked down on
100,000
Long
experience.
Fei.
9,000
person
holy
from the
source
lower
and
realms
10 energy
saved
values.
the
Phoenix Realm. One hit Impossible. Kill. The entire
demon
audience
warriors
was
sneered.
stunned. Little
His
bastard.
eyes
stared
I'll
straight
give
at
you
Long
2
Fei
moves
as he
to
asked
meet
in
the
a
king
heavy
of hell.
voice, "Play as
Move.
a pig
The
and eat
long
the
spear
tiger?"
covered the sky.
Kid,
The
who
demonic
exactly
chi
are you?
around his body
One
surged.
hit kill.
This
Very
cultivation
powerful.
level could
The Phoenix Old
completely
Woman was
crush
also
Long Fei
startled and
towards
could
the
easily
question that
kill
Black
him.
Flame posed.
However, she too
at this
wanted to know
moment,
the other 4
Long
sacred
Fei
masters
held onto
who
the
had
golden
recovered their
cudgel with
true
both of his
strength.
hands.
On the other
Monkey,
side,
are you
also
satisfied?
stared at Long Fei.
I'm not
wanting
in a
to know
good
who he
mood
was.
anyway.
Long Fei
A voice
grinned
came out from the
and
golden
sneered.
cudgel.
"I'm your
Hit
father."
his mother.
Black Flame
Understood.
angrily said,
Buzz.
"You're courting death."
The 2 ends
Long
of the golden
Fei
cudgel
hooked his
began to
fingers.
burn.
"I'm
as
just
the
looking to die.
Samisen
Come bite
True
me."
Fire's power surged.
This
The power
time,
within the
the
Samisen
chaos was
True
not caused
Fire's
by the
body
Phoenix Old
surged
Woman,
even more,
but by the Black
and the
Flames.
power of the Sun Wukong
Moreover,
was activated
it was
by
fury,
Long Fei
chaos.
as if he did not
He
have
did not
any
even
energy
pay
to be
attention
filled.
to Long
A
Fei,
staff was
but
thrown out.
he knew that
Rumble.
he could instantly kill
Crack.
the demon
The
warrior,
red armored warrior's
which made him
body
very unhappy.
was smashed into
At
pieces.
the beginning, he
and
had
in
just
that
mocked
instant,
Long Fei.
instant
But
kill.
now,
Ding.
he felt like Long Fei's attack was on his face. Unhappy, extreme displeasure. Black Flame moved, his palm reached the sky, and said, "Kid, you are not qualified to be so arrogant in front of me." He pressed down with his palm. It was as if a sky had suddenly pressed down on Xiang Longfei. Phoenix Old Woman's body moved, standing in front of Long Fei, his palm striking down, and he shouted, "Break!" Boom! The 2 forces collided heavily against each other. Space ruptured, sending out powerful shockwaves. "Since you want to protect him, then—" Black Flame laughed sinisterly. With a flip of his left palm, another gravitational blow was thrown down. Rumble! Phoenix Old Woman used a force to resist. He was instantly crushed. Black Flame laughed sinisterly. "Old Woman, protect this outsider. Your junior sister, S. Black Flame Army, kill." The Black Flame Army moved, crazily pouncing towards the other 4 saints who were severely injured. Phoenix Old Woman's face tightened as he shouted loudly, "Black Flame, you dare!" Ha ha ha! In this Phoenix realm, why would I not dare? Back then, your previous female emperor was almost ridden under my crotch. Why would I not dare to do that? Black Flame laughed excitedly. Phoenix Old Woman was even angrier as he shouted, "Black Flame!" Black Flame laughed even more wildly. "If you were a bit younger, maybe I would have been able to beat you up." Ha! Anger soared. However, the more angry the Phoenix old woman became, the more chaotic the situation would become, and the more crushed by the black flames. She could not move, nor could the black flames. However, Black Flame had an army of Black Flame, and these demon warriors were all extremely powerful. Black Flame said with a smile, "Everything is about to end." Ha ha ha. Phoenix realm is mine. The Phoenix lair is mine too. Phoenix old woman was struggling to hold on. She had no way to stop the Black Infernal Army. Seeing the Black Infernal Army pouncing towards her, she shouted, "Junior sister, quickly run, quickly run." Flee? The Phoenix realm was just that big. Where could he escape to? There was nowhere to run. At this time, Long Fei, who had been standing behind Phoenix old woman, suddenly moved and said, "Don't worry, there's still me." As soon as he finished, as he landed in front of the four saints, the golden cudgel in his hands moved and said with a smirk, "Come. I just want to explode." A demon warrior with 100,000 experience and 10,000 energy values, this was an excellent opportunity, an opportunity for experience to soar wildly. Black Flame swept his gaze over them and could not help but laugh out loud. "Do you think that you are invincible just because you can kill a demon warrior of mine? Little bastard, this is my Black Flame army." "Humph, you overestimate yourself." Long Fei said with a cold smile, "The Black Flame army, right? More than others, right? Sure, then Lousy will compete with you." The idea moved, and the 100,000 holy source disappeared. Long Fei shouted, "Scatter seeds which become solidars." Boom! 100,000 holy source suddenly burst forth, like raindrops falling onto the ground. Following that, a drop of holy source turned into a magic weapon, and all of them stood up. At this moment, the sky exploded, and the spirit general was summoned. Yang Jian pays his respect to his lord. Chapter 1339. Time is up. Chapter 1339. Time is up. 100,000 holy source, 100,000 magic weapon, plus a spirit general. This was the scatter seeds which become solidars. But the spirit knight was actually Erlingshen. Yang Jian was more or less surprised. He never thought that it would be a super boss like Yang Jian. Looking at the magic weapon emerging from the ground, Black Flame was dumbfounded. Originally, the Black Flame army was very aggressive and savage, but in front of the 100,000 magic weapon, their numbers were not even enough. They were all dumbfounded. Immediately, Long Fei laughed excitedly and said, "More people? Who has more people now?" "Huh. Yang Jian, kill them all." "Yes, sir." The three-pointed and two-blade in his hand moved, suddenly slashing, and shouted, "Magic weapon, listen up, kill them all." Kill. Instantly, 100,000 magic weapon rushed up in unison. Their killing sounds shook the sky, and their mighty and domineering auras turned into a mess. He started killing crazily. This speed, just like cutting wheat. This was truly harvesting. The fighting strength of 100,000 magic weapon was far beyond Long Fei's imagination. This was a massacre, a true massacre, and also the system beep in Long Fei's mind crackled and exploded with a rhythm that could not be stopped. It was shockingly fast. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Demon Warrior, for obtaining 100,000 experience, 9,000 holy source points,
he'll level
and 10
up.
energy values points.
Only ask one
Ding.
question. Who
Congratulations
else
to player
Long Fei was
extremely
for
excited
killing Demon
Chaos
Warrior,
Realms
for
obtaining
obtaining
100,000
yellow,
experience,
profound,
9,000 holy
spirit,
source points,
sun,
and 10
moon,
energy values
star,
points.
and stellar.
Ding! He came
Congratulations
to Chaos
to
Realm
player
in less than a
Long
year,
Fei,
and his strength rose
That's the rhythm.
dramatically from the yellow
Satisfying.
realm all the way
He
to
could
the star
not stop
realm.
at all. Who could
Especially
imagine?
Yang Jian.
Kill them all.
This guy was simply
All
in
of
a
you
complete
flip through.
mess. He charged
Long
into the
Fei was
place where the
wild
Black
with
Flame Army
excitement.
was the most
He
concentrated.
stared at the black flames
and his three
and said,
spears with
"There are
two
more
blades
people than people."
and two spears
Mocking me?
crazily swept
You're not
across,
qualified
crushing
enough. Do you
everything.
understand?
F
Swish.
*CK.
Long Fei's heart
He's
was
really
filled with
too
rage.
domineering.
His eyes were
If
also
I had
fixated
chosen
on
the water
the big
god
boss
treasure
Black
earlier,
Flame.
would
The
I have
black
even
light
needed to
emitting
act?
from this guy's body was
Long
purple.
Fei was
It was
extremely
obvious.
excited.
The
This
battle
was a super big
strength of
boss.
100,000
That's why
magic weapon
Long
was
Fei had
simply
never
incomparable.
used his striking
More
energy
importantly,
value before.
This was only
He
the
wanted to
first
leave
level
all his
of
striking
scatter
energy
seeds,
value
which becomes
for
Salader's
Yen
technique.
to turn the
If it
sky
was
upside
level
down.
increase,
His
the
face
level of
suddenly
magic
changed
weapon summoned
as
would
he
be
stared
even
at
higher,
Phoenix Old Woman,
and the number
and
of spirit
asked,
generals
"Old
would be
Granny,
more powerful.
just who did you summon back?
Level 1 is
A
Yang
person?
Jian. Your
Then
Phoenix
what was a
clan
second
are
or
third
liars?
rank. Didn't the
He was
great
completely
perfection
stupefied.
stage
Never in his dreams
the
did
Jade
Black
Emperor
Flame
think
Lord
that Long
Tathagata
Fei
the
could
Buddha
summon
do
so
you wanna
many
open
people?
one? And
Wow.
each of them had
Long
strength
Fei
that
was
was
a
not
little
inferior
inferior
to
to
his
his
Black
It had
Flame
been a
demon
long
warrior.
time
Since
since he
black
felt this
hot
good.
army
A few minutes
simply
passed.
fled like a
Ding.
pack of rats.
Congratulations
They
to
simply
player
didn't have the
Long
strength
Fei
to
for leveling up.
retaliate.
A
Current
huge
level,
army
star
of
level
100,000 surrounding him, coupled with a valiant figure like Yang Jian, how could he be a match? In almost an instant, the Black Flame Army was unable to resist. A complete collapse. The 4 Phoenix Saints were stunned. Who is he? The Phoenix race doesn't have any men. Could it have been arranged by the female emperor? This brat doesn't seem to be that weak, but yet he was able to erupt with such a violent power. This is unbelievable. Perhaps he is the savior of our Phoenix clan. What do you mean maybe? He's clearly won. Looking at Long Fei's back figure, the 4 sacred grounds were so moved that they wanted to cry. After several thousand years, Phoenix Realm's calamity was finally going to end. This meant the female emperor was about to be resurrected. The end of the calamity meant a new beginning. This was also the reason why they had always stayed in Phoenix Mountain. The flames of fury burned crazily in Blackheart's heart. As he watched the Black Flame army collapse one by one, blood dripped from his heart. Was his thousands of years of hard work going to be ruined? My path cannot stop here. No, I can't accept this. Black Flame raged and roared, "Black Flame Army, kill! Kill that little bastard!" As long as they killed Long Fei, all of these magic weapons would disappear. Black Flame suddenly pressed down with his palms, borrowing the energy to spring away. After that, he struck Xiang Longfei with his palms, bellowed deeply, and said, "Kid, give me your life." Phoenix Old Woman's face turned sinister. She was in a passive state, and when she saw the black figure attack Xiang Longfei, she immediately cried out, "Be careful!" It was too fast. He exploded with full power. At this moment, Yang Jian's 3-pointed, 2-edged spear fell from the sky. Buzz! Instantly, it blocked the path of the black flames. He descended to the ground and picked up the spear that had been stabbed into the ground. With a violent wave of his hand, he pointed at the black flames floating in the air. "Give me your life." To F** King Mighty. Long Fei laughed excitedly. "Yang Jian, kill him!" Yang Jian thrust out his spear, sealing Black Flame's entire body. A powerful force charged forward frenziedly. However, at this moment, a strange prompt suddenly appeared in the system. Ding! Scatter seeds, which become Solider's time, is up. Buzz! Buzz! One by one, the magic weapon on the ground disappeared. Just like how Long Fei was attacked while training in the multiple shadows, they all disappeared. Yang Jian's spear stabbed down, but at this moment, his body broke through the void and disappeared. The time for the scatter seeds, which become Soliders, had come. 100,000 magic weapon disappeared. This skill had a certain time limit, so it was impossible to use it endlessly. This point was something that Long Fei had forgotten from his excitement. Now, Black Flame laughed sinisterly after retracting the aura that was crushing onto his body.
he stared at Long Fei and said, "Little bastard, let's see what else you have." Long Fei sneered, "I have a lot of cards up my sleeves." Human Emperor Fushi. Chapter 1340, Level 5 Berserk, Super Ignition. Chapter 1340, Level 5 Berserk, Super Ignition. He had initially thought that he could use Yang Jian to dry out the black flame, but who would have thought that the scatter seeds, which become solidars, had a time limit? However, everything was over. The scatter seeds, which become solidars, was still on cooldown, and there was still a long time before it could be used. Moreover, in the last few minutes, there were still quite a few members of the Black Flame army remaining, seeing the surrounding spirit treasures disappear, and then seeing Long Fei by himself. The old flames of 8 generations of ancestors started to burn. It fiercely rushed towards Xiang Longfei. Black Flame also became extremely proud. "Brat, let's see what other abilities you have. I want your dog life." "You do it." Long Fei remained calm. He did not panic at all. "I was just afraid that you would not come." Boom! The black flames were furious. His body transformed into a boundless black cloud, within which a stream of light flashed. It was as if magma was surging within the black cloud. Incomparably brutal. Black flame burning heaven? Phoenix Old Woman's pupils tightened as he shouted in shock, "Dodge!" Her body turned into a huge rainbow phoenix and let out a cry as she charged into the black cloud. Rumble! Rumble! In less than 3 seconds, Phoenix Old Woman fell down from the black clouds. His face was pale, and he spat out a mouthful of blood as he looked at Long Fei and said, "Quick, quick, let's go. No one can escape my black flame burning heaven. All of you must die." The black flames were extremely savage. Long Fei looked at the Phoenix Old Woman on the ground and said, "What's the point of you doing this?" He was badly beaten up as he stared at Long Fei just because of this. Long Fei raised his head to the sky. Long Fei looked at the black cloud. "It's to kill your strength." Then said, "You have made me very unhappy. What kind of powerful boss was that?" "I am very unhappy." Moreover, he was still at level 900. Buzz. His strength was simply outrageous, linking to the power of the level 900 human Emperor Fushi. Black Flame was beaten up to the point where he had no power to resist. Congratulations to player. He could not even retaliate. Long Fei for as he stared at Long Fei, level 900 human Emperor. "Who exactly Fushi's are you?" Power possession. "I did. In that instant, I'm your father." The aura on Long Fei's body roar abruptly changed. Long Fei moved his body. He glanced at Phoenix and struck at Black and said once more, "Look carefully." Seeing the amount of blood with this kind of on the top of Black Flame's head becoming lesser and lesser. Bam! Long Fei was starting to get excited. He was although so the striking value he currently possessed Old Woman was not at the 6th level of Berserk. He instantly entered the black cloud. At the 5th level was sufficient. Bang! This super purple light ball. The sound must of punches dropped something and kicks rang out. he would really be at a disadvantage. Even more arrogant. Black Flame struggled
arrogant
continuously,
voice sounded
but in front of Long Fei,
in
was
just
like
half a minute.
The
Unable to
entire
dodge
sky
at all.
above Phoenix Mountain
Mercy
had originally been filled with black clouds.
I will immediately
but now it
leave
had
Phoenix
turned
Mountain
into a ball
and never come here
Black
again.
Flame had no
Spare
choice
our
but to
lives.
change back to his
Go
real
to
face
the
appearance
underworld
and tell the King of Hell to spare your life. How could he let this dying boss go? Nervous. Long Fei's fists exploded with the power of level 900, heavily punching forward, and said, "Die!" Both fists struck out. Black Flame's chest was pierced through. His body was blasted away for tens of thousands of miles, and the blood on his head directly turned into 0. Kill. The system sounded out, causing Long Fei's heart to tighten. He immediately shouted, "Release level 5 Berserk." Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Black Flame, for gaining 150,000 experience, 1 million Holy Source points, and 10 energy values points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Black Flame Blood Vein. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Black Flame Berserker Blade. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Black Flame Purple Gold Boots. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Black Flame Armor. Congratulations. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Star Level 2. A series of loud explosions sounded. All of the purple level god equipment were good things, but if one of these items was dropped, it would be eaten by a sky-swallowing rat, leaving Long Fei no chance of survival at all. However, Long Fei was very nervous right now and was about to go berserk. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for using level 5 Berserk. Please proceed with your Domain Treasure Series, Water God Treasure Series, Heavenly Court Series, Cartoon Series, Game Series, Wyman Series, Mecha Series, Universe Unknown Series. Please choose. Long Fei swallowed his saliva and replied, "Congratulations to the player, Long Fei, for obtaining the permanent Super Burn." What? Super Ignition? What is it? Long Fei was immediately displeased. He wanted to create a super powerful character, but who would have thought that he would only be able to create a summoner skill? Item: Super Ignition, permanent consumption, 100,000 Holy Source grade. Super God description: Super Ignition can deal 100,000 to 100,000 HP, unable to heal. Damn! Damage from 100,000 points to 10 million points. This is definitely F*** King. Outrageous. Can you not be so abnormal and let others live so long? Ha ha ha. Long Fei instantly laughed out loud. Berserk is great. You don't need to do anything in the future. You like to act cool? Fine, I'll ignite it and hang it straight away. I don't even need to do anything. Besides the boss level monsters, how many of them could withstand 10 million damage? However, even with 10 million damage points, Long Fei needed to train his Super Ignition skill to the highest level to be able to trigger it. At this moment, the 18 levels of hell in Long Fei's body suddenly began to revolve. Buzz, buzz, buzz. A powerful light burst out from the 18 hells. The strong light covered the distant black flames and turned into a powerful suction force. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Ghost Warrior. Black Flame. Boom! Black Flame took a deep breath and woke up. He looked at these scissors and suddenly shouted, "Hades, release this daddy out!" Ghost Warrior? Interesting. Long Fei moved and said, "Little Black, how have you been?" "It's you." Black Flame's eyes became angry, and he roared even more, "Brat, if you have the guts, let me out." At this moment, the Yuan Yang big beast rolled its eyes and disdainfully said, "Don't be cocky anymore. He will do the same to you. Just be honest and listen to him. What the F*** are you going to do about it?" Black Flame was stunned. He looked at the gigantic beast above him, and was shocked. A war beast from the Yuan great world. Why are you here too? Chapter 1341, Phoenix returned to nest. Chapter 1341, Phoenix returned to nest. The Yuan young big beast ignored him. They didn't even bother to pay attention to him. Back then, he had been seized tightly in the 18 hells, and he had been enraged as well. He finally understood. Resist Long Fei. It was better to wash up and sleep. Moreover, last time he clearly killed Long Fei, but Long Fei actually revived. Furthermore, he was the only one in this world who could transcend the 18th level of hell. If he was happy, he could let you go for a walk. Fortunately, Long Fei was a good person. The Yuan Yang Big Beast also accepted it. Say something. Yuan Chao Beast, you are the Yuan Chao Realms Beast. You are wild and untamed. No one can tame you. Why are you still locked up here? Black Flame spoke nonstop. The Yuan Yang Big Beast said in disdain, Aren't you the king of the Black Hot Realm? How did you get locked up here? Black Flame. He was immediately speechless. Black Flame grinned and said, Brat, let me out. The moment Long Fei moved his idea, the idea became a giant, incomparably huge. The 18 levels of hell in his eyes were like ants, let alone the black flames that were imprisoned in the 18 levels of hell. Long Fei said, Just now you are dead. I was the one who resurrected you. You will be obedient in the future. You will live a very comfortable life. If you do not, I can kill you within minutes. Understood. He directly suppressed it. Thinking back to the scene just now, he was indeed dead at that time. But now he could feel that his own flesh and blood was not dead, which meant that he was still alive. Yuan Yang Big Beast slightly said, You have to listen to me here. Long Fei said, Yuan Chao Beast, if he doesn't listen, you can teach him. I don't have time to bother with him right now. What was Long Fei's purpose in coming here? Resurrection of Jojo. With the death of Black Flame, the danger to Phoenix Realm was resolved. Phoenix Old Woman crawled up from the ground, walked to Long Fei's side, knelt down on one knee, and said with incomparable respect, Thank you, sir, for saving me. The other 4 sages of the Phoenix also slowly stood up. At this moment, the haze over Phoenix Mountain dissipated, Long Fei's heart shook, and the sunlight shone down. Jojo is really a female emperor. The 5 saints of the Phoenix felt it for a while. Long Fei said, It's an aura that hasn't appeared in a long time. Do you know how to revive her? Long Fei said, Old Woman Grandma, please return to your nest. I came here to find out if she can be revived. She took the heart of Phoenix. Long Fei took to the front of a gigantic from his bosom nest. These were refined out of Jojo's and body said to Long Fei, when he was still in Master realm, reviving the looking female at the heart of Phoenix requires a period of time. Long Fei's could be a year or could be the 2 years. The 5 saints 3 years kneeled down on the ground abruptly. This depends on the level of her cultivation, and they became even more respectful. It did not mean that she would be able to revive the heart of Phoenix. This is the female emperor's imprint in the Phoenix. The calamity in the Phoenix realm receded. The rebirth of a female emperor was required a lot of power. This rumor is true. Long Fei smiled in his heart and said, As long as I can revive, even if it's for 100 years, 1,000 years, or even 10,000 years, I can still wait. Phoenix Old Woman looked at Long Fei with even more respect than before, then slowly placed the heart of Phoenix into the Phoenix nest. Buzz. At this moment, a streak of rainbow-colored divine light was birthed and began to flicker with ring after ring. At this moment, the 5 sages of the Phoenix immediately transformed into a giant phoenix that danced around the Phoenix nest. With the 5 saint force fused into everything, the 5 of them shouted at the same time, 10,000 phoenixes, return to your nest. Phoenix Mountain, open! A strong power surged out. When the Phoenix Mountain's boundaries door opened, Phoenix after Phoenix flew in from another plane, all flying around the Phoenix nest. One by one. The scene was simply too shocking. Long Fei's soul seemed to have been cleansed. Jojo quickly come back to life. More and more phoenixes were dancing in groups above the Phoenix Mountain. This was the first time they had been here for thousands of years. Phoenix Old Woman descended and said, "Master, what is your name?" Long Fei replied, "Long Fei." Phoenix Old Woman said, "I will definitely tell the female emperor everything after she was reborn." Long Fei said, "Thank you." Long Fei said, "Grandma, if she wakes up that day, tell her I'll be waiting for her at ancient holy battlefield." Finished. Long Fei walked down the mountain. He didn't know how long it would take Jojo to revive. He still had something important to do, and he didn't know how things were going with the Beast City after leaving for such a long time. The gang is going to be upgraded. He had to become stronger. 9 secret warrior family, Hellgate, Bounty Gate, Thousand Alliance sect. These were all powerful forces to deal with. It was the main temple, the ancient holy battlefield. He couldn't let any of these go. Long Fei had to leave. Phoenix Old Woman took out a Phoenix Realms Phoenix spirit tablet from his chest pocket and said, "Sir, this is our Phoenix Realms Phoenix spirit tablet. No matter where you are or what difficulties you encounter, as long as you need to crush it, our Phoenix clan will immediately rush over." Long Fei accepted the order badge and said, "Thank you." This wind spirit token was about the same as the token Queen of Blood Moon gave him. Regardless of whether it was useful or not, it was a matter of friendship, and Long Fei could not shirk it. Phoenix Old Woman said, "In addition, the Phoenix race left behind in the plane you are on will listen to your orders. From today onwards, you are their new master. They will not disobey you in anything." Long Fei's heart trembled, and thought to himself, "No wonder I didn't see the big sister in red and that short-hair woman." Long Fei's thoughts became impure. She was a great beauty with dozens of liveliness, and all the women of the Phoenix clan were beautiful beyond compare. If possible, Gudong. Long Fei swallowed his saliva and asked, "Anything?" Phoenix Old Woman said, "Anything. This feels great." Long Fei was secretly happy in his heart. "If I take them all down, wouldn't my partner's experience skyrocket to 2 times? Ha ha ha." Long Fei was thinking of something that a child should not be able to do. Beast City. "Leader, the city is about to fall. Let's kill our way out." On top of the city wall, Leighton's brows were knitted tightly, seeing the thousands of elite Xian Yuan sword sect S rushing towards him. His fists couldn't help but tighten around the flame war hammer. Last time, they had been able to stop 1,000 elites, but this time, even more came. Moreover, the disciples of the Xian Yuan sword sect outside the Beast City were only at the first formation, so there were still many Xian Yuan sword sects on the mountain slope not far away. This time, Beast City, a battle of life and death. Chapter 1342, Bem in Danger. Chapter 1342, Bem in Danger, boom. 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 Outside the city, one puppet after another fell. Gue Ro was still in the midst of creating puppets to rush to the battlefield, but it was just that. The materials in Beast City were too scarce. Refining puppet materials were very important. Right now, she could only create low-grade stone puppets, so these puppets weren't very useful. With a wave of the hammer in his hand, he said, "Orse tribe, listen up. All of you descend the city walls and prepare for battle." Roar. The Orca clansmen let out a wild roar and rushed down together. Everyone mounted their own war beasts and guarded the city gate. At this time, Hualin took over the wall and said lightly, "Everyone listen up. We are the 3rd line of defense. We must not let any disciple from the Xian Yuan sword sect enter the city." "Yes, sir." "Sovereign, why must you be so troublesome? We can just fly into the city and kill them all. That will save us a lot of trouble." An elder asked in confusion, what was the difference between a city siege and an ordinary one? "They are cultivators." "How could a cultivator's war be so troublesome?"
Chun Xuanzong smiled slightly and said, "Do you know what's the most painful thing in the world?" The elder was stunned. Chun Xuanzong sneered coldly. "The torment before death is the most painful thing in the world. I want to let those who resist me taste this feeling. I'm going to break the defenses in their hearts. Let any power within a radius of millions of kilometers know the consequences of rebelling against my Xian Yuan sword sect." Chun Xuanzong's mouth was gloomy. He was not only going to kill the entire beast race, he still wanted to make an example of this. Falling several times in a row made Chun Xuanzong very unhappy. This time, he was going to slowly play with the beast city until he died. All the elders were stunned for a moment before they started laughing. "The sect master is brilliant." "Ha ha ha. I knew it. This is too much of a torment." A disciple hurriedly ran up and said, reporting to sect master, "The puppet army has been dealt with. Please give us your next instructions." Chun Xuanzong said indifferently, "Move it slowly." "Yes, sir." Not long after, the thousands of Xian Yuan sword sect disciples slowly retreated step by step. The panic and fear that Chun Xuanzong hoped to see did not appear within the beast city. Instead, everyone was very calm and collected, and there were even soldiers everywhere. Rumble! The city gates opened wide, and Lei Dun shouted, "Orca, kill him! Charge!" Roar! 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 The mounts roared, and the beastmen warrior fiercely rushed out, just like how a bulldozer would lift up to attack quickly, with many beastmen warrior holding onto Flame Warhammer. Chun Xuanzong took a step forward, his gaze slightly staring at the Flame Warhammer in Leighton's hands. His heart shivered, and he thought to himself, "It really is the holy artifact." The Warhammers in their hands all have the power of the fire element. They are holy artifacts. Since when did the beast race have so many holy artifacts? Did you find some ancient ruins? Even if it's an ancient ruin, it can't all be the same weapon. Chun Xuanzong grinned excitedly and laughed. "Hee hee. Leighton, is this the power you have to rebel against me? All of your holy artifact are mine." And then Chun Xuanzong shouted, "Elder Ma, Elder Li, pull out your 2 super monster S and grind these fellows up." Who wouldn't have their eyes shining with golden light when they saw the holy artifact? The 2 elders Ma and Li immediately became excited. "As you command." And then Chun Xuanzong shouted a few more times. A few more elders rushed out from beside him. Chun Xuanzong narrowed his eyes. Holy artifact. A high-rank holy artifact is even stronger than ancient spiritual artifact. If I can provide the Hell Gate with more holy artifact, then my identity in Hell Gate. Ha ha ha. Kill them all. Kill them all. Roar. Roar. The 2 demon beasts that were tamed by the Xian Yuan sword sect rushed up from the left and right sides. "Leader, it's a level 8 peak demon beast." "Leader, we will be wiped out by their charge." "Leader." Lei Dong turned around to look at Huolin, who was standing on the city wall, and he nodded slightly, and then, with a heavy wave of the Flame Warhammer in his hand, he pointed to the nearby square formation and said, "Don't bother about the demon beast, just charge forward." How fast was he? Before he could even rush over, he would have been defeated by the demon beast that came from the bag. However, Leighton's speed didn't decrease at all, instead charging forward even more ferociously. Just as the 2 demon beasts were about to pounce on him, Huolin, who was on top of the city wall, suddenly shouted, "Bemin!" Roar! Suddenly, the Bemin stood up from the city and roared towards the sky. The sound was as clear as the waves, causing the ground to shake. Rumble! Its enormous body flew into the air. Rumble! A huge black shadow fell down heavily instantly landing in front of a level 8 demon beast. Blood gushed out, and he fell to the ground, twitching. Instant kill. Roar. The Bemin charged forward again and sat down on the ground. It then turned the level 8 demon beast into a meat patty and killed it in a second. Bemin could instantly raise the god's martial sex level of strength. One could imagine how intrepid he was. Chun Xuanzong's expression changed. His brows secretly tensed up. So you also subdued this gigantic beast? However, Chen Xuanzong's gaze turned sinister. A mere beast, how big of a splash could it cause? Earthling's right envoy, a person walked out from behind Chen Xuanzong and lightly said, "Understood." Roar. 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 The Bemin large monster roared, and then its huge body charged again, directly shattering the square formation formed by the thousands of disciples. Then he let out a thunderous roar and madly rushed towards the mountain slope, killing the king first, as long as he killed the Xian Yuan sword sect master. Everything would be easily resolved. Crap! Huolin's face changed. The Xian Yuan sword sect was thousands of years old, but it did not fall because of her, and she did it because of her own reasons. Other than the sect master, the Xian Yuan sword sect S were also the Emperor list, the powerhouse S on top of the Son of God ranking. Although Bemin S were strong, they were too rash. Great Master. Huolin shouted out anxiously. Kunlun Zi's figure moved, transforming into a stream of light as he rushed out. Earthbind. Get tired. Rumble. On the hillside, the soil was like a pillar that was being lifted up crazily. As the Bemin stomped down, it was as if it had sunk into a swamp. Its body was quickly covered in mud. The impact instantly dissipated. In less than half a minute, the Bemin had become a statue made of mud. Ha ha! Burial of the earth. Die? A powerful force moved, and the power contained within the soil started to burst out crazily. Bemin S were incomparably dangerous. Chapter 1343. 8 King Kong's Power Restoration. Chapter 1343. 8 King Kong's Power Restoration. If a sect couldn't be erected, it was due to the support of the Powerhouse S. In this kind of world where the Chaos Realm ate people without spitting out their bones, if a sect didn't have the support of the Powerhouse, then it wouldn't be far from death. The Xian Yuan sword sect was not that weak. Not only was it not weak, it was also very powerful. It was also because of this that it was able to stand for less than several thousand years. Powerful energy poured into the soil on the Bemin's body, causing it to explode in succession like a bomb. Blood was flying everywhere. The Bemin roared, but his body could not move. Ha ha ha! Bastard, go to hell! The envoy from the Xian Yuan right now sneered coldly. Suddenly, a surge of power came crashing down. Boom! The sound of air exploding could be heard, causing the profound Qi right envoy's face to darken. He looked at the power that suddenly came crushing down from the sky. Son of God, ranking's powerhouse. At this moment, he could only give up tormenting the Bemin. With a move of his body, he dived into the ground. Rumble! He struck the ground with his palm. The ground cracked, and Kunlun Zi landed heavily on the ground. Not far away, the envoy from the right appeared on the ground, with blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. He stared at Kunlun Zi and asked, "Who are you?" The Bemin quickly recovered with just one leg being severely injured, but he was still furious. He took out a large hammer from somewhere and smashed it towards the envoy's head. "It's your ancestor." Rumble! The black essence right envoy's body once again drilled into the ground. The Bemin's left foot shook, then heavily stomped on the ground, and shouted, "Come out if you dare." The ground shook, then quickly split open. Kunlun Zi shouted, and said, "Bemin, go help Lei Dun,
and the others, leave this to me. The Bemin was not willing, but he still followed through. The power of the Bemin was purely a physical attack, and with the profound chi used to carve the strength of the dead Bemin, the Bemin could not handle him at all. Kunlun-zi moved a little and sensed that the energy was extremely strong and sensitive. Suddenly, Kunlun-zi's pupils shrank. Let's see where you can run to. Shwa. He grabbed it with one hand. He lifted up the profound arm right envoy from the ground and raised him into the air before smashing him onto the ground like a dead dog. Bam! Puffed. Xian Yuan spat out a mouthful of blood, and his body quickly retreated. Once again, he drilled into the ground and finally disappeared. Trash! Chun Xuanzong did not wait for the profound arc right envoy to come out from the ground and slap him. You can't even deal with a powerhouse on a Son of God ranking. The envoy lowered his head, not daring to resist at all, and said lightly, his cultivation is a little different. His sensitivity is very strong. I have nowhere to hide. Trash is trash. Don't find excuses for yourself. Chun Xuanzong scolded. He looked to another place and said, have you found anything? What is his ranking in the Son of God ranking S? That elder flipped through all the information on the Son of God ranking and said, Sect Master, we didn't find anyone with the same strength as him. It could be a newly advanced expert of the Son of God ranking. Impossible. During this period of time, only Hellgate's young Master Zhan Wushuang has entered the Son of God ranking from there. There's no one else. Chun Xuanzong immediately denied it. The heavens, the earth, and the human emperor leaderboard were being watched by people every single day. Knew they would be discovered at the very first moment. Could it be the powerhouse on the emperor list? An elder said carefully. The elder began to flip through the book with a savage expression. Impossible. This doesn't make sense. He should be dead. Chun Xuanzong bellowed and said, speak clearly. The elder immediately said, Sect Master, according to the records of the Emperor list, this person should be Kunlun Sect's Grand Elder Kunlun-zi. Rumor has it that he had consumed a life essence before. His strength has greatly increased. However, Chun Xuanzong's eyes turned sinister. Impossible. Not to mention the Kunlun sect. Even the entire Kunlun Mountains has been razed to the ground. Not to mention Kunlun-zi. Even the peak powerhouse on the Heavenly Emperor list would have to die. It's impossible for him to still be alive. The whole of Chaos Realm knew that Kunlun Mountains was razed to the ground, and no one could survive under those circumstances. The fate judgment of the Destiny God was just too strong. No one could stop him. However, as Chun Xuanzong looked at Kunlun-zi's information, his heart became more and more shocked, and he muttered to himself, it completely matches up with the information he obtained. Could it be? They're not dead. This is too unbelievable. Ha ha ha. Suddenly, Chun Xuanzong laughed out loud. Seems like even the heavens are helping me get promoted. As long as I take Kunlun-zi down and give him to the Hell Gate, it would be much more valuable than giving up ancient spiritual treasures. Ha! I'm going to post. Immediately, Chun Xuanzong's gaze tightened as he stared at the beast city in the distance and muttered, with Kunlun-zi here, is 8 King Kong here? A Xian crystal reward of over 400 million. In addition, head of the 8 King Kong, is Long Fei here? If they're all here, Gudong. Chun Xuanzong swallowed his saliva and said excitedly, everyone listen up. Ha! All of the elders shouted in unison, and the disciples behind them also shouted in unison. Chapter 1344. Kill me, come on. Chapter 1344. Kill me, come on. Countless disciples of Xian Yuan's sword sect had fallen. Kill them all. Leave no one alive. Chun Xuanzong gave the order. He then took the lead and rushed towards Hualin. Without waiting for the holy artifact in Huolin's hands to slash down, his figure flashed and instantly grabbed Huolin by the throat, asking in a gloomy voice, "Speak, where is Long Fei?" Huolin's heart trembled. Chun Xuanzong's eyes were filled with astonishment, and he said, "You can even escape under fate judgment, and a single escape would take tens of millions of kilometers. I must say, I really admire your Kunlun sect. To be able to escape from the destiny god, you can be considered the first. However," Qin Xuanzong said, "today, either you tell me where Long Fei is, or you die." Huolin continued to struggle, but his strength was like the difference between heaven and earth when compared to Chen Xuanzong's. There was simply no way to compare at all. Huolin spat on Chen Xuanzong's face and said, "Come, kill this daddy." The corners of Chen Xuanzong's eyes began to twitch, and he said, "You're courting death." With a flip of his left hand, his 5 fingers formed a claw, suddenly pressing it down on Huolin's head. He bellowed, "You dare not take face, then go to hell." Huolin gave up resisting. In front of Chen Xuanzong's power, he did not have any chance to resist. However, at this moment, Huolin's body possessed an incomparably strong defensive power, and this defensive power directly enveloped his entire body. This kind of feeling, he didn't know how to describe it, but he felt that he was invincible. Boom! When the palm struck down, not only did it not harm Huolin, the defensive power in Huolin's body instead trembled and fiercely counterattacked, sending him flying backwards. At this moment, whoosh, 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 one voice after another sounded out. It landed on the surrounding roof. 8 figures descended, 8 King Kong. Just now, the defensive power on Huolin's body was the power of the Fat Man Chen's holy armor King Kong. Chun Xuanzong swept his gaze across them and laughed sinisterly. 8 King Kong, ha ha ha. Who would have thought that you were still alive? Even Bounty Gate doesn't know about it. I'm going to post it today. The 8 King Kong has over 400 million Xian crystal, and your boss Long Fei is worth 100 million. Chun Xuanzong took a look and asked, "Where's your boss?" They weren't dead, and Long Fei was sure they weren't dead either. If this news were to spread out, it would definitely shock the entire Chaos realm. Chun Xuanzong did not want to spread the news, but wanted to kill all of them. That way, all the rewards would belong to him alone. Li Yuanba laughed foolishly and said, "There's no need for boss to attack a piece of trash like you. We alone are enough." Aoya said, "Huolin, bring the disciples of the Kunlun sect and everyone from the Beast City and withdraw." Huolin did not linger, as he did not have any leeway to unleash this battle, and immediately said, "All right, disciples of the Kunlun sect, listen up, protect the citizens of the Beast City, and retreat from the Beast City immediately." On Chen Xuanzong's side, an elder asked, "Sect leader, we—" Chen Xuanzong stared at Li Yuanba. "Those trash have no bounty. Only these 8 people have bounty. Open fire and kill these 8 people." "Yes, sir." "Kill us." The corners of the sky spirit's mouth turned cold as he revealed a cold smile of death. Then he turned around and moved. Buzz. His body turned into a sky full of shadows. Shwa. The black shadow exploded and instantly shot out. Shwa, shwa, shwa. Swish, swish, swish. One figure after another penetrated the bodies of the Xian Yuan sword sect disciples. The bodies of the disciples slowly petrified and then completely ruptured. The heavenly spirit didn't even look at it and landed in front of Chen Xuanzong, asking sinisterly, "Kill us? You think you're worthy? Rumble." In that instant, the bodies of the disciples from the Xian Yuan sword sectes who were hundreds of meters away crumbled, turning into dust and falling onto the ground. He had an imposing manner. Breaking through the shackles, his strength grew even stronger.
staring at the childish sky spirit. Chen Xuanzong tensed up and became furious. Left and right envoys. Boom, boom. Two figures rushed out from behind him. The mud on the ground swirled crazily while the other disappeared into thin air. The sky spirit's body was entangled by the mud, but he did not move at all. The power in the sky was like a tiger staring covetously at its prey. Chun Xuanzong looked at the sky spirit that was bound by the power of earth, and the power in the air that could cut off his head at any time, and could not help but sneer. 8 King Kong, Yulin Guardian Warrior, are you that trashy? Not a human, not a ghost, not a demon, not a demon. From what I see, you're just a piece of trash. Many people knew about the 8 King Kong after the battle at Carefree Auction House. Humph! The corner of the sky spirit's mouth curled up as he smiled coldly. Chun Xuanzong disdainfully said, "Laugh! Die!" As soon as he finished, laughed complacently at this moment as he locked onto the sky spirit's head. Yulin Guardian Warrior? Ha ha ha! Go to the royal ghost. Earth explosion. Kill. 2 angry roars. The two forces attacked the sky spirit. However, the sky spirit didn't even move from its original position. The soil instantly cracked and was knocked back by the strong defensive force. The power in the sky did not appear either, because the moment he attacked, over 100 sword spirits floated around his body. He was trembling with fear. The heavenly spirit sneered, "Come on, come kill me." Other than knowing that the short-hair woman's cultivation level was not bad, Long Fei did not know what other power these women had, but he did not have the time to ask them any further, and instead said, "I have urgent matters to attend to. Can you guys keep up?" The woman in red looked up at the sky and said, "No problem." "That's right." Long Fei asked, "Speak." The lady in red looked at the gigantic, myriad spirit bead that was not far away and said, "Do you want to take it away?" This myriad spirit pearl can absorb millions upon millions of kilometers of spiritual energy. The spirit energy in Great Wilderness Land was completely absorbed by this pearl. The woman in red replied, "We are different from the cultivation methods in this world. We can only absorb spiritual energy from the myriad spirit bead for cultivation purposes." So, it was a huge pearl. The red devil and the boundary were blasted apart. Streams of spirit energy could clearly be seen entering the pearl. This bead was simply a heaven-defying item. As long as it was in the Beast City, all of the spirit energy would enter the Beast City, and wouldn't their cultivation be as fast as flying? Long Fei immediately said, "Bring it with you." The woman in red immediately said, "As you command." "One, take a portion with you to go with the Lord. We'll be there shortly." "Yes, sir." Long Fei summoned his fire unicorn and said, "We're following you." Roar. The fire unicorn moved, directly transforming into a ball of light, and charged into the sky. Long Fei intentionally made the fire unicorn slow down, but completely unnecessary. The Phoenix Clansmen released all their power as one phoenix silhouette after another superimposed onto their bodies, flapping their wings to fly up quickly. "Follow closely." Long Fei shouted again as the fire unicorn increased its speed. "What is the power of your branch?" Long Fei looked at the short-hair woman behind him. He wanted to know the power of these people, what made his guild instantly level up. Awen said, "We belong to the Phoenix Clan's seal." Huh. Suddenly, Long Fei thought about the seal in his body. If not for the blood of the unseal, then the power in his body would still be suppressed by the seal. The power of the seal was too strong. No wonder. Now we have something to play with. Long Fei was secretly ecstatic with the seal race here
it would be much easier to deal with the powerhouse's boss. Hurry up. Beast City, Chun Xuanzong said with a face full of pride. 8 King Kong. Later on, you all will become 8 dead spirits. Do you know what that token is? Hell's Death Order. The order badge shattered, and immediately there are Hell Gates rushing over. All of you just wait for your deaths. Ha ha ha. Chun Xuanzong laughed wildly. The Hell Gate was his strongest trump card. Bam. Li Yuanba landed and said, "Are you saying that Hell Gate's people are really on their way here?" "That's right." Scared. Chun Xuanzong laughed. The current Hell Gate was simply too huge, coupled with the 9 secret warrior family and Xianyuan clan behind him. It could be said that no power in the entire Chaos Realm was his opponent. Li Yuanba said, "I'm so scared. I'm really so scared. I'm just afraid that he won't come." However, since the people from the Hell Gate are on their way here, then there's no need for you to be alive. Li Yuanba looked at the Holy Spirit. The corners of her lips curled up. Not bad. If that's the case. Boom. The sky darkened, and a loud explosion resounded. A huge stream of black flame bladiki ignited in the air, chopping down onto the ground. At the same time, Aoya's brows moved. The sword spirit exerted its strength. Boom, boom. Left and right envoys of the Profound Origin stage were instantly killed. Instant kill. Li Yuanba raised his sleeves and stared at Chun Xuanzong. "Leave this guy to me." As soon as he finished, bam! Li Yuanba took a step forward, causing the ground to shake. With a flip of his right hand, the giant spirit axe landed in his hand. He leapt into the air and used his axe to chop down heavily. Chun Xuanzong's eyes turned sinister as the corners of his eyes twitched. "King Kong Li Yuanba, holy King Kong." "Humph, you think I'm afraid of you?" The sect master of the Xian Yuan sect possessed extraordinary strength. Chun Xuanzong rushed forward. Boom! His body flashed and disappeared. Rumble! Li Yuanba's axe struck empty air. His eyebrows moved, and he turned to look at Aoya. "You escaped." Oya nodded. He escaped. At this moment, on a distant city wall, Chun Xuanzong stood at a high place as he stared at Li Yuanba's eerie and strange smile. Chapter 1346, Level 5. Chapter 1346. Level 5, he couldn't keep up at all? In an instant, Chun Xuanzong was out of the battle circle. In other words, Oya's sensing ability could only keep up with the speed of the other 8 people. The giant spirit axe in Li Yuanba's hand shook and said, "You like to escape? I'm just looking at you, not waiting for him to finish." Chun Tianfei suddenly shouted, "Big guy, be careful." Buzz. With the sound, Chun Tianfei's reaction speed could not keep up. Everything happened too fast. The area where Li Yuanba was fighting was filled with a ball of black, fiendish qi, which instantly wrapped around his legs like a pair of demon hands tightly grabbing onto his legs. At this moment, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, flee, Chun Xuanzong slightly said, "I never thought of running away. Your heads are so valuable. If Bounty Gate knew that you all aren't dead yet, your bounty would increase by many times. A few 100 million Xian crystal. That is enough for my cultivation to step into the realm of the Heavenly Emperor ranking." Zhang Xian frowned. A group of idea controlled that ball of black fiend energy and laughed coldly. "King Kong, die for me." Boom! The black demonic energy suddenly erupted as it frantically devoured the energy in Li Yuanba's body. Also at this moment, Chun Xuanzong's figure disappeared. Whoosh! Whoosh! Dragon descending dragon, and Arhut flew out. However, Li Yuanba said, "Don't move, he's mine." The space between his eyebrows tightened, and his breathing slowly slowed down. Lightly, his diamond-like eyes also slowly closed. not caring about the devouring black aura below his feet, but to fully sense Chen Xuanzong's movement trajectory. Suddenly, Li Yuanba's eyes opened wide in anger. At this moment, the corpse on top of the giant spirit coffin suddenly opened its eyes. Buzz! With an explosion, Li Yuanba bellowed out, "Soul, leave the body, condense!" A surge of power rushed out from his body. At this moment, after obtaining the soul force from the void, he instantly condensed a golden corpse with 3 heads and 6 arms. The goddess of war hangs the moon. Rumble! The 3 axes blocked off 3 of Chen Xuanzong's positions and smashed down heavily. Get down! Rumble! Chen Xuanzong never thought that Li Yuanba's soul would actually be able to leave his body and condense a golden corpse in that instant. A complete explosion, not to mention him. Even the other 7 King Kongs did not expect this. So fierce. Damn, that big guy is really that big guy. He's simply a madman. He can even comprehend such a move. This is too deadly. This is great. He had never seen this move before. Obviously, this was a new skill that Li Yuanba had used his own strength to break through the new power that the soul losting powder had obtained. Powerful to the point of being a complete mess. Bam! Chen Xuanzong heavily struck the ground. Puff! Blood gushed out of his mouth. His face turned pale. Li Yuanba landed heavily from the air, stared at Chen Xuanzong, and laughed. "If you want my life, come and take it if you dare." 2 bodies. Chen Xuanzong's face secretly changed and said, "Great, Vajra, don't be complacent. Do you think that you're so amazing just because you won in one move? Do you think you can win against me?" Before he finished his sentence, Chen Xuanzong's figure disappeared. However, at this moment, a strange scene occurred. Li Yuanba's body was once again bound by the black fiend energy. In an instant, another 3-headed, 6-armed Li Yuanba appeared behind Chen Xuanzong. Divine power, giant spirit, 3 heads and 6 arms, eyes as furious as Buddha's, once again cleaved down without giving Chen Xuanzong any time to react. This was the pure, divine power that had erupted from his body. Rumble! Puchi! Chopping down on Chen Xuanzong's chest. It was like chopping firewood, fiercely smashing onto the ground. Boom! The giant spirit axe pierced through Chen Xuanzong's body and nailed him firmly to the ground. It stepped on Chen Xuanzong's head and roared loudly, "So what if I know I'm a King Kong? And so what if I'm a holy King Kong? Can you stop, lousy?" His voice was like thunder. Chen Xuanzong's chest was pierced to the point where he was scared to the point of peeing. His face was incomparably pale, and he knew that Li Yuanba could use his soul to make a clone. However, he could only imagine how many bodies Li Yuanba could create from his body. This was too unbelievable. It was simply a powerful explosion. Chen Xuanzong was completely suppressed, and being stepped on by Li Yuanba was exceptionally uncomfortable. The faces of all the elders and disciples of Xian Yuan's sword sect turned pale, and their scalps turned numb. Is he even human? Is this person a ghost? Oh, I want to go home. Too terrifying. Li Yuanba did not erupt with human strength. Of course. He was also not a human. He was King Kong, a holy King Kong. At this moment, the disciples and elders of the Xian Yuan sword sect all felt their legs trembling. They turned around and ran, screaming as if they had seen a ghost. Run! The corners of the sky spirit's mouth curled up in a cold sneer. All of you have to die. This is the first battle to recover the strength of our 8 King Kong. All of us will die. Lin Yoshing's body started to bubble. Other than Li Yuanba, the 7 King Kongs' crazy reaper simply did not give these people any other chance, just like how the others in the Kunlun sect did not give them any chance back then. Moreover, they understood in their hearts that if they wanted others to be afraid of them, they had to be ruthless. If one was not ruthless, one would not be able to stand steadily. Chapter 1347. Enclosure. Chapter 1347. Enclosure, the Hell's Death token that Chen Xuanzong obtained could only activate level 1 protection. It was also the lowest level of protection, 3 elders and 100 elite disciples. However, the average clan elder of the Hell Gate can activate level 5 at most, but he was still a little worried, so he inserted a sound transmission into the order badge. 8 King Kong isn't dead yet. The instant he sent the sound transmission, the Hell Gate's headquarters immediately knew 8 King Kong isn't dead. Long Phase 8 King Kong is not dead. How is this possible? The entire Kunlun Mountains had been razed to the ground. How could they be safe? And how could they appear in the great wilderness land? The Elder's sound transmission can't be fake. First Elder, what should we do? Within the Death Palace, a red-haired old man, dressed in a blood-red robe, frowned and said, "The sect leader is not here. Junior Master is still cultivating in the Tower Question of God this matter." And then the corners of the red-haired elder's lips curled up as he said, "Release the news." I believe that the people from the Bounty Gate are even more interested than us. The last time that happened in the Kunlun sect, although they did not know what happened, but the Hell Senior, the Purple Elder, and the Alliance Master of the Thousand Alliance sect all perished. Their hatred for Long Fei was extremely strong, and they wished for nothing more than to eat his flesh and drink his blood. Great Clan Elder, does this mean our Hell Gate is too useless? If Junior Master knows. The red-haired old man stared at him and said, "Not fighting does not mean that he is useless." Furthermore, the sound transmission only said that the 8 King Kong is still alive. It did not say that Long Fei is still alive. Junior Master wants Long Fei's head, not 8 King Kong's head. And I will naturally send people to the great wilderness land. The red-haired old man said coldly, 8 King Kong might not be dead, but Long Fei is at the heart of fate's judgment, so no one can escape the judgment of fate. He must be dead. And then the red-haired elder said, "Activate rank 7. Hurry to great wilderness land, Beast City." The speed at which the news spread was unimaginably fast. Before the Hell Gate even sent out their men, the Bounty Gate was already in an uproar. He actually didn't die. How dare they? Their existence is the greatest insult to us, Bounty Gate. This insult must be washed away with their blood. We must make them die. 8 King Kong did not die. The impact on Bounty Gate was great, but the Bounty Gate, who had never failed a mission before, was defeated by Long Fei thrice in a row. He had to wash away this humiliation. It was the same for the Thousand Alliance. The death of the deputy chief would also be a huge blow to their sect. Powerhouse quickly rushed to Beast City. All of a sudden, the tornado that was initially slowing down Chaos Realm once again stirred violently. Moreover, it was several times stronger than before. Half a day later, Beast City, basically, all of Xian Yuan's sword sect's disciples had been killed, and it could be said that this time it was a complete victory. However, the entire Beast City did not cheer, because on the hillside opposite of Beast City stood a group of people, a group of overweeningly powerful superpowerhouse. He's here. Ha ha ha. Hellgate's powerhouse has arrived. All of you 8 King Kong should go to hell. Chen Xuanzong laughed loudly. However, without waiting for him to laugh out loud, Li Yuanba's palm slapped down, almost blowing his head off, and said, "Even if we die, I will let you die first. What are you so proud of?" Li Yuanba did not kill Chen Xuanzong because he wanted to leave it for Long Fei to kill. He was very clear that if Long Fei could make a breakthrough in killing people, this sect master would definitely give Long Fei a lot of experience. He might even get some good stuff out of it. This was the reason why Li Yuanba
did not kill Qin. Huolin and Kunlun Zi walked over with furrowed brows. They said faintly, "There are more and more people, more and more powerful." Kunlun Zi said, "Aside from the few old monsters that did not appear on the side of the bounty gate, we are basically going all out. It's more or less the same for the one true sect. When will the Grand Master return?" Other than the things that they could see on the surface, there were even more powerhouse hiding in the shadows. There were many people who came for the 8 King Kong's bounty, and a group of people who came for Kunlun Zi's 100-year-old life essence. This was even more dangerous than the incident at Mount Kunlun. The Beast City did not have any natural protective barrier, so there was nowhere to run. Even if one was lucky enough to escape to the great wilderness land, the demon beast in the depths of the wasteland were incomparably powerful and similarly dangerous, making it hard for them to survive. Right now, the only path in front of them was to fight. He had to fight. The heavenly spirit flew down from the city wall and added, "The situation is more serious than what we have imagined. The powerhouse that came this time is even stronger than the last time." Chun Tianfei replied, "What are you afraid of? Use boss's words. Don't be afraid. Just do it." The Black Knife said, "We are not afraid, but Orca and the disciples of Kunlun's sect." And then Boss finally escaped to here and hasn't been able to stand firm on his feet yet. Boss doesn't need to fight right now, but to recover and let the gods' martial sect become stronger, strong enough to fight against the Hell Gate. We can't let any more accidents happen to God's martial sect, just as the Black Knife said. If he were to act the same as the Kunlun sect this time, then everything that Long Fei had done during this period would be ruined. The guild level was not Long Fei's personal level. Once the damage is too great, the party will quickly reduce in numbers, and it will drop in level. With only a few wings left, it wasn't suitable for a head-on clash. Li Yuanba said slightly, "Black Knife Uncle is right. Boss is wholeheartedly trying to build up God's martial sect. We cannot let God's martial sect be destroyed by us." Aoya said, "The current situation isn't something that we can control. It's not that we don't want to fight, or the other side won't." The Heavenly Spirit said, "Sister, Aoya is right. If we don't fight, they will still attack us." Huolin and Leighton looked at each other and walked over at the same time, saying, "Or's tribe, there's nothing to fear. We were all prepared for combat from the moment we were born." Huolin also said, "So what if it is the 3 great forces? Now that the Kunlun sect has been destroyed, even if I have to sacrifice my life, I will fight them to the death today." How could he not fight when he had been forced to his doorstep? Even if they chose not to fight, what about the 3 powers? They would let the Beast City off. Of course not. Who? Li Yuanba clenched his fists tightly and said, "Fight." The association's experience had stopped increasing. Long Fei thought to himself, the battle should have already ended. However, Long Fei had an ominous premonition in his heart. He had a feeling that things wouldn't end this quickly. And then Long Fei urged and said, "Speed up a little more." Chapter 1348, Killing Extinction Array. Chapter 1348, Killing Extinction Array. Buzz. A muffled sound rang out in the sky as a person stepped out. Each step took him 1,000 meters into the air. Ripples began to swirl around his feet. "Bounty Gate, Purple Elder." Lung Bing's voice exploded in midair and spread across the entire Beast City, saying, "Long Fei, get the hell out here." "Scram, your 8 ancestors." The sky spirit moved and rushed up to the sky. The ghost-veined spiritual energy surged out crazily as both of his hands made a grabbing motion in the air and fiercely blasted forward. The purple-robed elder laughed coldly and said, "You get down."
the two palms fiercely pressed down, crushing down with great force. The sky spirit showed no fear. His body was attacked by the powerful energy. His body suddenly turned into a stone statue, and Ghost Vein Chi shot up to the sky. "Who's down?" Boom! The spirit energy in the ghost vein erupted, and the heavenly spirit smiled sinisterly as it appeared in front of the purple-robed elder. It punched out with both of its fists. Purple Elder's face was shocked. His two fists went forward to meet it. Boom! Both of them bounced off at the same time, landing from the air at the same time. Bang! Bang! When the Holy Spirit descended in Beast City, it turned a building into ruins. That purple elder was also blowing up a huge pit, walking out of it step by step. His face was filled with anger, but he did not rush forward again. A few clan elders of the Bounty Gate landed. "There's no trace of Long Fei's aura. He's not here. Or could it be that he's already dead, and these 8 people and the remnants of the Kunlun sect have escaped?" Several elders asked. Other than their target, the 8 King Kong, the most important target was Long Fei. The purple elder said, "Long Fei is not in the city, but I feel that he is not dead. He must have used some treasure or something to escape the judgment of fate." What kind of soul treasure can withstand the judgment of fate? Could he have main artifact S on him? The purple-robed elder shook his head without affirming anything, and said, "I don't know if he is a main artifact or not, but he definitely won't die that easily. Furthermore, I'm sure that it is possible that Kunlun Zi staying by Long Fei's side is because the life essence was also refined by Long Fei." Life essence? How is this possible? He can even refine pills? This deduction made their hearts tremble. The life essence, 100 years of longevity, was too alluring. Who doesn't want it? So, the purple-robed elder's eyes turned sinister as he said, "If Long Fei is still alive, then capturing the 8 King Kong alive is our bargaining chip. When the Destiny God passes down fate judgment, they will no longer spy on the Chaos realm, and the life essence that they swallow will definitely not be discovered. This is a very good opportunity." The group looked at each other and revealed cold smiles at the same time. Bam! Waves of ruins burst forth as the sky spirit walked out from within the ruins. He frowned with displeasure as he muttered, "This elder's cultivation is truly amazing." "Are you hurt?" Li Yuanba asked. The man replied, "No." Suddenly, Aoya's expression changed. "They're here." "Who?" Li Yuanba asked in a daze, after which 2 rays of light descended above Beast City, and said solemnly, 8 King Kong, do you dare to fight 1-on-1? 1v1? A conspiracy." Aoya immediately said, "There must be a conspiracy. Don't agree to it." Without waiting for Li Yuanba to speak, the voice in the sky sounded again, and said, "If you don't dare, then it doesn't matter, since your 8 King Kong is just 8 great turtles to us. No, it should be 9 great turtles, and that cowering tortoise Long Fei. Even now, you still don't dare to show your face." Swish! "You're calling me boss?" Li Yuanba was instantly displeased, his right leg chopped down heavily, his body shooting up to the sky, instantly landing in front of the 2-meter powerhouse, and said, 1 versus 1? Come on." Li Yuanba's temper was too irascible. Moreover, his brain was only weak, so he could not listen to anyone speak ill of Long Fei. That he didn't matter. However, you can't just say Long Fei. Aoya frowned and said, "Not good." The sky spirit felt it too. Immediately, 7 King Kongs rushed up into the sky at the same time, and the 8 of them lined up in a row. Li Yuanba shouted and said, 1-on-1? Come on." The 2 purple-robed elderly men revealed a cold smile and said, "Don't be in such a rush. We 8 people from your 8 King Kong are not even here yet." Fat Men Chin said, What are you wasting time talking? Now we have more people to deal with the two of them. Are we going to duel? We like ganging up. His suggestion instantly made Li Yuanba excited, and he said, begin the group fight, cripple them. Purple Elder's expression changed, looking at the fighting spirit ignited on 8 King Kong's body. His heart trembled. He doesn't follow the rules and play the cards, since that's the case. The 2 elders retreated as they sneered. Group attack us? Look at your beast city. Buzz. Wong. Buzz. In the 4 directions of Beast City, for streams of power shot into the air and instantly formed an extremely strong boundary formation. Oya's face sank. Sword spirit set. Boom, boom, boom. The 100 sword spirits in the sky descended like arrows. However, when all the sword spirits smashed onto the boundary, they instantly became engulfed, only leaving behind a small light. I've fallen into his trap. The dragon subduing Venerable One charged straight down, 8 rays of golden light flowing into the boundary's array formation, all of them being devoured like 100 sword spirits. Moreover, with the suppression of the 2 powers, the pressure on the boundary array became even lower. Each and every one of the Beast City-s were crushed to the point that they couldn't even breathe, feeling incomparable discomfort. One of the purple-robed old man laughed proudly. Don't waste your energy. The stronger the power of your attacks, the faster the array will crush you. When the array is completely crushed, that Beast City will not have a single survivor. Do you know what this is called? Annihilation formation. No one in the Chaos Realm has been able to break this formation. 8 King Kong. If you want the people below you to live, then listen obediently. Be obedient like a dog, you understand? Ha ha. The 2 elders laughed out loud, complacently. Their goal was to imprint the 8 King Kong, and then use the people within the Beast City to threaten the 8 of them, and use the 8 of them to threaten Long Fei. What a perfect plan. The powerhouse-s were all shocked. The extermination formation, this is an ancient formation, and even now, no one has been able to break it. It seems like the bounty gate has come prepared. And what were they discussing just now? One of the elders asked, why didn't you directly attack the 8 of them, and instead chose to kill those ants? The people from the bounty gate must know something. Don't worry about what they know. Their goal will be exposed sooner or later. Right now, it all depends on how 8 King Kong deals with it. Probably. There's going to be a good show. Without waiting for a reaction from the purple-robed elder, he heavily chopped down with his axe. Rumble! It came too quickly and too quickly, causing the purple elder to have no time to react at all. His body was directly split into 2 halves. Divine force ignited. One axe had killed one, while the other had been killed by the other 7, threatening us. Your grandmother. Lin Yuxing shouted loudly and said, there are still 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Then, Li Yuanba suddenly landed on a corner of the city, stared at a purple-robed elderly man, and coldly said, you can either remove the array or die. In addition, the 7 King Kongs also quickly landed on the other triangle on the Beast City side. Only the 4 of them were able to undo the formation that opened up from the 4 feet and was created by the 4 purple-robed elders. The purple-robed elder stared at Li Yuanba with a cold smile and said, you want me to die? With just you? Give me one last chance. Li Yuanba didn't have any patience as he shouted loudly. The purple-robed elder said, I will give you a chance. Kneel before me, not waiting for him to finish. Li Yuanba suddenly roared out, kneel before your ancestors. Boom. His body rushed forward, attacking the purple-robed elder. The purple-robed elder's reaction wasn't slow at all. He coldly snorted and said, good, get down. A formation landed on his left hand. It burst forth, striking towards Li Yuanba. However, in this instant, Li Yuanba's body became stiff. In the sky, 3 heads and 6 arms simultaneously descended, as they said in a heavy tone, "God power ignition, overlords slash." Boom! The violet-robed elder's body was split into 2. Don't kill him. However, too late. The body of the purple-robed elder had already become a link, with blood flowing all over the ground. His eyes were extremely wide, staring straight at the 3-headed, 6-armed Li Yuanba. He didn't even know how he died. Aoya said, "If you kill him, how will you remove the formation?" Li Yuanba's face sank. This array was created by 4 people at the same time, and to remove it, they would have to do it at the same time. Now that one person had been killed, the array could no longer be removed, and could only continue until all the people in Beast City died. What do we do now? Lin Yusheng also did not think of this situation. Right now, it was basically impossible to get the Bounty Gate people to break the formation. Since they've already been killed, let's just kill them all. Even if they die, we'll make them carry the burden. Kill. The other 3 violet-robed elders had all been killed. Lin Yusheng frowned and said, "Boss has said before, there is no formation in this world that cannot be broken. As long as you are absolutely strong, the power of the formation would also break if it could not withstand it. Speak of the simple." Fat Mention looked at him. Amongst the 8 King Kong, only Lin Yusheng had some knowledge of formations, adding that he was a god. Water King Kong. He could feel the power of the water element. Lin Yusheng said, "Together with the 8 of us, we will use our combined strength to destroy the formation. It's the only way I can think of at the moment." Li Yuanba immediately said, "Then what are we waiting for? Let's begin. If we delay it by just a second, they will be in danger." Lin Yusheng frowned as he looked at the people on the hillside. With 8 people working together, we cannot be distracted in the slightest. Otherwise, not only will our powerful forces not be able to break the formation, they will even devour our bodies. I can't care so much anymore. They are all eldest brother's men, and eldest sister-in-law is inside. How can we not save them? Arhut said anxiously. The Black Knife also said in a heavy tone, "We don't care anymore. It's more important to save him." Li Yuanba shouted, "Come!" In the distance, looking at the ugly expression of the Bounty Gate elder on the other side, he smiled slightly. "Now it's our turn to go up on stage. You want to break the formation? Ha ha! This is the best time." Not far away, a streak of fiery light flew over, causing Long Fei's brows to knit tightly together. The experience of the association increased yet again, and the increase in the amount of experience each time was extremely huge. Long Fei knew that this was definitely the experience gained from killing the powerhouse. However, Long Fei looked at the Beast City in the distance. "We'll be there soon." Next, a few more elders flew over. "You want to break the formation? The Apocalypse formation has never been broken by anyone. Do you want to break it? Even if you find a way. You won't be able to break it either, because all of you will die." As soon as his voice faded, a thick stream of energy came crashing down. Rumble! It directly exploded on Li Yuanba's body. Puffed! Li Yuanba spat out a mouthful of blood. He did not even frown an inch, as the divine power in his body was not affected in the slightest. However, at a time like this, he could tell what was more important. Ouch! He's even going to fight with his life on the line. This old man shall see just how strong your fleshly body is. Ha ha ha! Just now, he had used a strand of energy to test if Li Yuanba would retaliate. Now it seemed that if the 8 King Kong wanted to support them in fusing their powers, they simply did not have any extra strength to do so. If that was the case, elders shouted, "Kill them!" The 8 elders of Hell Gate acted together. Rumble! Rumble! The power was like rolling thunder as it bombarded forward. The 8 people were heavily injured at the same time. Blood dripped from the corner of their lips as their bodies swayed. However, their power was not affected at all, and they still maintained their balance. "Everyone, stabilize! Don't get distracted," Lin Yusheng said with difficulty. However, this was only the first wave of attacks. At this time, the elders of the Hell Gate would definitely not let them off so easily. The 8 of them were severely injured. Their faces were pale, and fresh blood continued to gush out from their wounds. "Too despicable. King Kong, don't worry about us. Hurry up and backhand. Hell Gate's grandchildren, can you guys show some face?" A despicable, shameless thing. In the Beast City, Huolin scolded loudly. However, their curses did not cause any damage, so no one paid any attention to them. Despicable, shameless? This is just an excuse for the weak. No one would sympathize with the weak. Kunlun Zi continuously struck at the array boundary S, and every strike would be knocked back by the powerful force. Both of his fists were badly mutilated, but he still kept on attacking. At this moment, if 8 King Kong retracts his power, then the extermination killing array would grind them all to smithereens in an instant. No one could escape. Uffed, puffed, the 8 King Kong in the sky was still holding on as they continued to spit out blood. It was an incomparable pain, but it was as if they were not harmed at all. Powerful energy continued to gather and condense. Seeing 8 King Kong getting injured, every single person in the Beast City felt extremely upset. Gue Ro shouted loudly, "Husband, where are you? Come back quickly! Come back quickly!" His heart almost couldn't take it anymore. Chapter 1351, Breaking Formation, Large Injury. Chapter 1351, Breaking Formation. Large injury, all the spirit energy within thousands of miles was instantly sucked out and sucked into the 9 heavens whirlpool. At this moment, everyone in Chaos Realm was moved. What's that? Could it be that someone is undergoing a tribulation? What a powerful strength! Which Heavenly Emperor ranking powerhouse is going to undergo this tribulation? It was exactly the same as the power of heavenly tribulation. The 9 heavens vortex was surging with power. In this vortex, everything was like an ant. The Hell Gate S were all stupefied. The Powerhouse S and Powerhouse S of the Myriad Alliance sect all had stupefied looks on their faces. Sky, heavenly tribulation. Why did he trigger the heavenly tribulation? Run! Only those who had reached the great circle of Chaos Realm would be able to call upon heavenly tribulation and once again use it to temper and strengthen their body. Only those who had reached that level would be able to receive the power bestowed by the heavens, and their entire body would be able to evolve into a higher plane. However, there were no powerhouse of the great, complete realm here. No one could withstand this kind of power. This kind of heavenly tribulation power was extremely shocking and terrifying. It was simply like a life-reaping symbol. No one wanted to stay. The Hell Gate S who attacked the 8 King Kong S could not wait any longer and wanted to escape with 8 more legs. On the hillside, Red Hair Old Man frowned and shouted, "All of you go back. Whoever dares to flee will lose their lives. This isn't heavenly tribulation. This is the power summoned from the fusion of 8 King Kong's powers. There's no need to be afraid, and moreover, 8 King Kong's entire body has been hollowed out. They no longer have any power in their bodies. Indeed, the fusion of the 8 King Kong's power required them to consume too much power. Even with the cultivation in front of them, they could only barely activate this power, unable to sustain for long. But they didn't care. No matter what price they had to pay, they had to protect the Beast City and protect Long Fei's painstaking work. Fall for me. Lin Yusheng surged with the power of 9 heavens, shouted out, and then heavily exploded. Rumble! 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 A beam of power descended from the heavens like a beam of light. As it descended, Lin Yusheng muttered, "We have to destroy this extermination formation. By all means." The price was too great. If we can't break it, everyone will die today. Boom! The power exploded down, striking boundary right in the middle of the 8 people. Next, a huge shockwave caused by the dust wave spread out in all directions. Right at this moment, the energy of the 8 people was completely exhausted. The Bemin let out a roar, pushed back its body, and ferociously swept its claws towards the red-haired elder. However, in that instant, the red-haired elder's gaze grew cold as he sneered. "How dare a mere beast act rashly in front of me? You overestimate yourself." His body moved, and a red light flashed. Boom! With a palm strike on the Bemin's abdomen, the power in the palm exploded. Rumble! A wave of energy pierced through the Bemin's body and exploded out from his back. "Bemin! Bemin!" Everyone shouted. The Bemin's body fell onto the ground a few thousand meters away, causing the ground to crack from the impact. The red-haired elder's power was too great. The power of the head of the 10 great clan elders of the Hell Gate could be imagined. The red-haired elder laughed coldly. "A bunch of trash. Except for the 8 King Kong. Kill them all." The man with red hair said coldly, "There must be a reason why the people of Bounty Gate did not directly take his life. Moreover, this time it wasn't these purple elder that came, but rather the stronger boss behind them. Why did they not kill 8 King Kong? Using them to threaten Long Fei? What was he threatening Long Fei with? Or was there something on Long Fei?" Suddenly, the red-haired old man suddenly thought of something. "Life essence." Ha ha! The red-haired old man smiled sinisterly. Chapter 1352. Long Fei arrived. Chapter 1352. Long Fei arrived. Life essence. 100 years of longevity. 100 years. Whoever could gain more than 100 years would have the chance to defy the heavens and change their fate, especially those heavenly S. Their lifespans were too precious to them. If he could live for 100 years, it was too tempting. The more cruel the world was, the more people above the peak wanted to live for a few more years. No one wanted to die. The life essence that old Lord Taishang had refined were simply too heaven-defying. A single 100 years old was a temptation that no powerhouse could resist. Boom, boom. The scene shook. The disciples of the Hell Gate S and Beastmen Warrior S were far from being their opponents. They could only bitterly endure, unable to resist at all. Those elders had already landed in front of 8 King Kong. Moreover, the experts of the One True Union sect made their moves. The people from Bounty Gate also moved. They couldn't let anyone off at this point. Boom! The red-haired elder's body moved, immediately landing in front of Li Yuanba, and stepped on his chest. Uffed! Li Yuanba's face sank, his eyes trembled in pain, and he once again spat out a mouthful of blood. His eyes stared straight at the red-haired old man, and his killing intent was extremely strong. The red hair quickly carried Li Yuanba up, and with a heavy voice he exploded out, "All of you, stop." It was also at this time all the 8 King Kong S were captured. The people of Hell Gate grabbed onto the Sky Spirit. Fat Men Chen, Li Yuanba,
and the Black Knife, Bounty Gate, and the Heavenly Alliance sect caught the other four. As the red-haired old man's voice faded, the entire audience suddenly fell silent, and then the red-haired old man stared at Li Yuanba and sneered, "Speak, where is your master Long Fei?" Li Yuanba spat a mouthful of blood on his red hair and said, "My boss is on your wife's stomach. You're courting death." The red-haired old man's gaze turned cold, and a strong pressure directly crushed Li Yuanba's sea of consciousness. It was extremely uncomfortable. However, Li Yuanba started to laugh crazily and said, "I'm just looking to die. If you have the ability, then kill me. If you can't kill me, I'll asterisk your entire family." At this time, the chance of survival was 0. In that case, I might as well scold him happily. The red-haired old man laughed coldly. "You are in a hurry to die, right? I won't let you die so easily. I'll ask you again. Where's Long Fei?" Li Yuanba sneered. "Didn't I say it earlier? On your wife's stomach." Not waiting for him to finish, the red-haired elder made a grasping motion with his left hand. A 5 to 6-year-old little girl from Beast City was held in his hand by a strong force. His 5 fingers exerted force and directly crushed her head, causing her red hair to become eerie. "Don't you want to say it?" Bam! Brain matter burst out. He didn't even scream. "My little girl is gone." Li Yuanba roared like thunder, "My ancestor!" Without waiting for him to finish, the red-haired old man sneered. He grabbed at the void again, and a pregnant woman from the beast race was brought over. "What did you just say?" "Say it again." The pregnant woman covered her stomach with her hands, her body trembling nonstop. Li Yuanba's anger was erupting crazily, but there was no longer any energy left in his body. As he looked at the red-haired old man's smirking face, he suddenly shouted, "If you have the guts, then kill me. If you have the guts, come at me. Bastard!" The rage raged. The red-haired old man laughed complacently and said, "You're angry, right? I feel great." While they were talking, he used one hand to caress the pregnant woman's belly and said lightly, "Don't be scared, little guy. It's over in a blink of an eye. Ha ha ha. Leader, that is... Leader." It was Leighton's wife. In September, his wife was about to give birth. Seeing his wife in the hands of the red-haired old man, Leighton's eyes were bloodshot and his teeth were about to shatter. "Tell him, Leader, Theo is your wife and also the child in your belly." A few of the beast race warriors spoke up, "Tell him." Everyone felt very upset. However, those people from the Hell Gate all had complacent expressions and were sneering at them. They did not put the beast race in their eyes at all. To them, the beast race was just like an ant, and no matter how many people died, they would not even blink once. "Bastard, come at us if you dare. Come at your father. What's so good about bullying women?" 8 King Kong looked at the red-haired old man, his anger exploding. It was just that. The more crazy they became, the more the people from the Hell Gate were proud. Her tears flowed crazily as her body trembled even more violently. She looked at Li Yuanba and shook her head lightly. The red-haired old man smiled and said, "Have you made up your mind? Where's Long Fei? Spit it out, or not." Li Yuanba didn't know what to do. His heart was filled with rage, and his entire body was burning. At this moment, Kunlunzi walked out and said, "Didn't you guys want the life essence?" "I do. I know who refined it. Let her go." Everyone from Hell Gate, Bounty Gate, and 10,000 Alliance sect all looked at Kunlunzi. He was the first one to use a life essence. Everyone in the Chaos realm knew this. The red-haired old man's eyes darkened. He sensed Kunlun Z's aura a little and said in shock, "The life essence is indeed useful. Since you know, then tell me quickly." Kunlun Z said, "Let them all go. I will tell you everything about the life essence." "Negotiating with me?" The red-haired old man's expression turned sinister. He grabbed Li Yuanba by the throat with one hand and raised him up into the air with the other hand. Chapter 1353, Killing Light. Chapter 1353, Killing Light. Try moving one of them. As soon as his voice faded, a figure descended from the sky like a bolt of lightning. At this moment, in the process of the healing springs activation, the injured god's martial sect disciples who were centered around it quickly recovered. Long Fei landed. More than 10 white-clothed women that were like fairies also descended and stood behind Long Fei. "Boss, master, husband," everyone was shocked. Everyone in Beast City started to become excited. Long Fei stared at the red-haired old man and spoke each word. "You, him, mother, move, he, everyone won. Try." His voice was extremely cold. His eyes shone with an intense killing intent. At this moment, the power of his cultivation base at the second level of the star rank was unceasingly surging. Fury was surging within him. The red-haired old man was startled for a moment, then laughed lightly and said, "Long Fei, you're finally out. I didn't think that you'd still be alive. Ha ha ha. You want them to live. Hand over the life essence, and I will spare their lives." The red-haired old man looked at Long Fei with ridicule in his eyes. Everything was within his grasp. At the same time, the other 3 elders of the Hell Gate also instantly and firmly bound the 3 great Vajra. It was the same for the people of the Bounty Gate and the Myriad Alliance. The 8 King Kong was the bargaining chip, so they naturally had to hurry at this time. Hand over the life essence. Long Fei, hand over the life essence, or I'll take their lives. Long Fei, quickly hand over the life essence. All of them were extremely savage, firmly holding onto 8 King Kong's neck and threatening Long Fei. Li Yuanba looked at Long Fei and said, "Boss, I'm fine. I'm fine too. We're all fine." The healing spring were frantically healing the injuries within their bodies, and their powers were slowly recovering as well. However, the people from the Hell Gate did not notice at all. "Threatening me? You want the life essence." Long Fei's voice was ice cold. Looking at the red-haired old man's complacent look, Long Fei was extremely unhappy in his heart and did not wait for the red-haired old man to speak. Suddenly, Long Fei rushed forward, and his body disappeared. The red-haired old man's eyes flashed, and he shouted, "You dog, looks like you won't cry until you see the coffin. Die." Both of his hands exerted force, and immediately grabbed Li Yuanba and Ta Sha's necks. His aura turned into pressure, and heavily crushed them down. "Whoever threatens, this father will die the next time." Boom! With a roar, the golden cudgel in Long Fei's hands smashed down. This staff strike was not only Long Fei's power, but also Monkey Sun's power. Long Fei's anger had also stirred the anger in his heart, causing him to roar in the air and heavily crush his opponent. Rumble! A staff smashed down on the red-haired old man's head. The red-haired old man's body sank into the ground. His strength was broken, and he fell to his knees. His head was split open, and a powerful force crazily devoured his entire body. "Puchi!" He spat out blood as he stared at Long Fei. You. Without waiting for the red-haired old man to finish speaking, Long Fei swung his staff again, not giving him any chance to escape at all. And with that, he swung it down on the red-haired old man's head. His foot stomped on the ground, causing it to explode. "Threatening your father? Fuck, who else?" He knew in his heart what was happening in the Beast City, but
He never thought that it would be so disastrous. And more importantly, Hell Gate, Bounty Gate, and the 10,000 Alliance sect once again surrounded and suppressed him. The pressure was even more tyrannical than before in Kunlun's sect. There was no way for him to survive. Since that was the case, then let's kill them all. Leighton rushed forward frantically to help his wife up. Tasha immediately said, "I'm fine, and so is the child." Li Yuanba stood up from the ground. The energy in his body was quickly recovering. He tightly clenched his fists, and the giant spirit axe grabbed out from the air. Long Fei's gaze swept across the people who were staring at the Hell Gate, and said coldly, "If I were you, I would honestly let them go." "Long Fei, don't be too arrogant. I have your man. If you dare to move, I'll kill him immediately." Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei's figure had already disappeared. In this instant, Long Fei landed behind that person, and his voice sounded beside his ear. "You killed my brother? You think you're worthy?" The Xiao Luo divine body's power burst out, grabbing the elder's neck. It suddenly pulled back. Crack! The head moved, blood gushing. Blood splashed all over Long Fei's body and into his eyes. His blood-red pupils became even more sinister. "All of you must die." Boom! Long Fei moved again, his figure appearing like a ghost, the highest point of the Xiao Luo divine body's power exploding forth. Ding! 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 In the blink of an eye, the 8 elders who were controlling the 8 King Kong were all killed by Long Fei without any chance to resist. This was the first time such a murderous intent had appeared in Long Fei's heart since he came to the Chaos Realm. An intense killing intent was crushing everything. No one dared to move even a little bit. They didn't even have time to react. The power that Long Fei had erupted with was something they could not understand. It was too fierce, too strong. "Come on, they can try touching my people again." Long Fei roared like thunder. He was extremely arrogant. 8 King Kongs stood behind Long Fei. Long Fei's eyes flashed with killing intent. "You guys aren't coming, right? You won't let me live, won't you?" Chapter 1354. No one can stop this daddy. Chapter 1354. No one can stop this daddy. Kunlun sect fled to a worthless great wilderness land. He didn't provoke anyone. But Hell Gate, Bounty Gate, and the 3 powers of the Heavenly Alliance sect were like mad dogs as they bit at each other. They did not give a chance for Long Fei to live. The anger accumulated in Long Fei's heart was also extremely bad. The great honored warrior was powerful. One word, fuck. In his fury, Long Fei did not care about all this. He was still as arrogant as before, still as arrogant. "Bite me. Everyone here must die today." Savage to the extreme. The people from the Hell Gate and the people from the 10,000 Alliance sect were all stunned. They stared at Long Fei and sneered disdainfully. "Brat, don't you see who's standing in front of you when you say these words? You know who Senior Qin is? How dare you be so arrogant? He really doesn't know his place. Long Fei, you really take yourself seriously. Brat, I want to know who you are talking to. Senior Qin is a person that came out of a tower question of God. What is your identity? You dare to speak like that. You must be tired of living." Qin Tianyuan, a person who had once entered a tower question of God. His strength was unimaginably strong. However, but Long Fei did not take it seriously at all. Even the emperor has to die here today. So what are tower question of God worth? "How dare you?" Qin Tianyuan's gaze darkened. With an angry shout, an extremely powerful force burst out from his body's 5 elements, and his strength transformed into a huge, ferocious beast pouncing towards Xiang Long Fei. "Boss, be careful. Leader, be careful." They had never seen such a huge beast of power before, and it was just a small transformation of Qin Tianyuan's power. Long Fei shouted, "Don't come up." Then, Long Fei took a step forward and laughed sinisterly. "This old man will be presumptuous today." Boom. Yuan Yang Big Beast. Rumble. The Yuan Yang Big Beast in the 18th level of health fiercely rushed out, slashed the air with its 2 claws, and directly ripped the illusion beast to pieces. At the same time, Long Fei suddenly moved and rushed out, both fists surging, his divine power bursting forth. So what of the great honored warrior? So what if you have the Tong Tian Divine Tower? All of you have to die for lousy. Blood Moon Punch. Boom. His fist was like lightning as it struck towards Qin Tianyuan. Qin Tianyuan stood in place without moving an inch and only coldly laughed and said, "Too weak." He opened his right hand and grabbed Long Fei's fist with one hand, completely crushing Long Fei's power within the Blood Moon Punch and turning him into nothingness. The power of the Blood Moon Punch was completely suppressed. Too strong. Qin Tianyuan disdainfully said, "You want to make a move against me? You don't even qualify to carry my shoes. Do you understand?" He flipped his right hand. The power of thunder poured in. With a shout, he shouted, "Get down!" Rumble! A huge sound echoed in the air. The power from Qin Tianyuan's body was so powerful that it could topple mountains and overturn the seas. Was not given any chance to escape at all, as he was struck heavily on his body. However, Long Fei never thought of running away. His Tao, never run. Ah! Long Fei roared out and blocked it with all his might. The Xiao Luo divine body's power was released, and it immediately formed a set of divine armor protecting Long Fei's body. Rumble! Rumble! A huge force pressed down, causing Long Fei's body to tremble. Even with the protection of the Xiao Luo divine body, his body was still unable to take it. His health point was declining crazily. The healing fist was frantically replenishing Long Fei's health point. At this moment, Long Fei held on tightly. He raised his eyes and stared straight at Qin Tianyuan. Qin Tianyuan had a condescending look as he icily said, "Kid, hand over the life essence, and I'll let you die today." His strength could easily crush Long Fei. After all, he was a powerhouse on the Heavenly Emperor ranking, a person who had cultivated in the Tower question of God an incomparably strong existence. He was not the least bit interested in killing Long Fei. Long Fei didn't even have the qualifications to die at his hands. Long Fei laughed sinisterly. "You want the life essence, right? Call me Daddy to listen. You're courting death." The moment Qin Tianyuan became angry, the power in his hands became even greater, pressing down on Long Fei's body until it bent, and he shouted out, "Kneel down!" "Kneel!" The corner of Long Fei's mouth curled up slightly, revealing a pleased smile. The idea moved into Warpet space and asked, "Sky-swallowing rat, are you full?" The sky-swallowing rat slowly opened her eyes. It was still the same size as a fist, without any special changes. However, his eyes opened, and the fire unicorn on one side trembled, curling up into a ball, not daring to look. A voice rang out, "Just so, half full." Long Fei said, "Since it's half full, then swallow this old fellow." The sky-swallowing rat raised its eyes and said casually, "All right." Then, Long Fei's body suddenly retracted its power and was engulfed by the sky-swallowing rat in an instant. At the same time, the space also shook, and the sky-swallowing rat in the Warpet space suddenly disappeared. In the void, a huge black hole with a half-open mouth was seen. Without waiting for Qin Tianyuan to react at all, he swallowed it all. Creak, creak, creak. Chewing sounds rang out. Long Fei shook his neck. The key point was a series of explosions. He laughed coldly. "So, what if it's the people from the Tower question of God? I told you, everyone here has to die. Anyone from the heavenly oracle S could devour it. No matter how strong Qin Tianyuan was he as strong as the heavenly oracle S? However, the sky-swallowing rat's level was too low, and even if it swallowed Qin Tianyuan right now, it wouldn't be able to kill him in an instant. It could only chew on it constantly to absorb the energy in Qin Tianyuan's body. Qin Tianyuan fought back with all his might. Moreover, in that moment, Qin Tianyuan moved and shattered an order badge with simple lines. He bellowed furiously, "Long Fei, are you looking down on the tower question of God? Today is the day you die." Long Fei laughed. "You have been swallowed by my beast. How dare you be cocky? Are you qualified to be cocky with lousy now? Bite him to a pulp." The blood grooves on top of Qin Tianyuan's head crazily dropped, while Qin Tianyuan continuously roared. At this moment, buzz, buzz, buzz. 3 booms suddenly sounded out in the sky. The 3 of them stood in the air, their bodies carrying traces of golden light. Although they were not oracle, they had a little of the characteristics of oracle. The 3 of them shouted, "Stop!" A stream of energy struck the sky-swallowing rat, causing it to sink. The Qin Tianyuan in his mouth was also spat out. Qin Tianyuan immediately said, "Senior envoy, after killing this person, he is not dead yet. He is Long Fei, the person who escaped under fate's judgment. Kill him." Extremely furious. However, it was the same for Long Fei. Furthermore, it was impossible for Long Fei to let a talking duck to fly away, let alone a boss-level duck. The idea moved, superignition. Explode for me. Chapter 1355, The Boss Reward. Chapter 1355, The Boss Reward Superignition, damage at 100,000 to 10 million points. Damage caused by level 1 igniting 100,000 points. As long as he was able to release it, his health point would decrease crazily, and this superignition of Long Fei's was an abnormally strong one. As long as he was hit by it, restoring his health point would be completely useless because it couldn't be recovered. Moreover, as long as it was within the health point, one had to die. It could be said that it was extremely abnormal. The blood groove on top of Qin Tianyuan's had only had a health point of 90,000 points. After being struck by the superignition, a ball of flames had always been burning above his head. Long Fei looked at the tower question of God Messenger in the sky and sneered in his heart, "The tower question of God people are awesome, right? You can stop me from killing someone? Even if the king of hell doesn't want him to die, I will still kill him." No one noticed the release of the superignition, including the powerhouse of the tower question of God. Long Fei slightly raised both his hands and coldly laughed. "All right, I'll stop, I'll see clearly, I'll stop." Others might not be able to sense him, but Qin Tianyuan himself was incomparably clear that the injuries on his body were getting worse and worse. His face was turning paler and paler as he looked at the messenger in the sky and said in a loud voice, "Save me, save me." The health point was going crazy. The people around didn't understand. Wasn't the tower question of God's messenger already here? Long Fei had also stopped. What else could he save? The expressions of the 3 emissaries were the same. As they said softly, "Qin Tianyuan, Qin Tianyuan's body became weaker and weaker as he said, I, save me, save. Crack. With that, Qin Tianyuan directly knelt to the ground. He couldn't even speak right now and stared at Long Fei. I will never let you go even as a ghost." Plop. His body went limp and he fell to the ground. All of this happened in such a baffling manner. So how exactly did he die? Long Fei didn't even make a move. How did he die? Long Fei smirked and said coldly, "You won't let me go even when you're a ghost? You aren't even my match as a person. What can you do as a ghost?" He thought to himself,
Explode for me. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Qin Tianyuan for obtaining 900,000 experience, 900,000 holy source points, and 10 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the ancient spiritual artifact, Sky Spirit Chaos Sword. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the ancient spirit God Blood Vein. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, star level 3. Ding. Congratulations player Long Fei for defeating Qin Tianyuan to obtain a special reward from the system. The reward item is super teleportation. 2 eternal true IS. Ding. System prompt. Do you wish to cultivate the super teleportation? Rob. I have to train. Long Fei was overjoyed and was inwardly excited. He said, what I want is this kind of berserk feeling. Ha ha. The drop of a boss wouldn't drop too many items. However, the reward of killing a boss was truly something to be proud of. Super teleportation with 2 permanent true eyes. That was awesome. As long as Long Fei set up 2 places, he could teleport back and forth. However, what is the function of this super teleportation? And then, Long Fei opened up the system to see the function of the super teleportation. Skill path, super teleportation grade, divine level consumption, 100,000 holy source cooldown, none description. Setting a true eye allows you to teleport back and forth. Transfer speed is 10% of a second. I'll go. 10% of a second, not even half a breath of time. This sort of support speed is way too fast, right? And this super teleportation has no cooldown at all. If you want to teleport, you can do so. However, Long Fei looked at the 2 true eyes in the ring and could only send them to the true eye. If only he had more true eye. It was a bit awkward that he could only transmit it to his true eyes. He only had 2 true eyes, so he could only set up 2 locations. This way, he would have to set up 2 locations. Wait. Long Fei's brows twitched. Damn, how did I forget about the business market? Open up the store and enter the sundries store. Seeing the true eyes on the shelves and seeing the true eyes, Long Fei laughed. Ha ha ha. As long as I have the points, I can teleport limitlessly, wherever I want to go. 50 million points for a true eye. The true eye stone is actually 500 million? F***CK. How could it be so darned? Long Fei cursed in his heart. Isn't this too much? Seems like I'll need to use some berserk items to exchange for double my points in the future. Wait, sooner or later, this old man will make the entire Chaos Realm under my watch. Long Fei was in high spirits. Other than being able to teleport, it also had its most basic effects. Field of view. A permanent eye can see anything that happens within a kilometer. Moreover, more importantly, those skills that could be used for concealment were immediately revealed to the naked eye, and he himself did not know about it. That's fun. So cool. Long Fei was secretly delighted. However, the 3-tower question of God stared at Long Fei, their eyes spitting fire. Bounty Gate, Hell Gate, and the Heavenly Alliance sex people were all dumbfounded. What was going on? Long Fei obviously did not make a move. Could it be that the sky-swallowing rat was harming him too much? Impossible. Qin Tianyuan was a super powerhouse on the Heavenly Emperor list. As long as he did not die, no matter how many injuries he received, he would be fine. Why did he die? He didn't understand it at all. Long Fei looked at the 3 envoys and smiled. I didn't touch him. His body was suffused with specks of golden light. Even if they weren't Oracle S, their cultivation was still
as strong as if they were gods. The first move he made was definitely an existence that would destroy the heavens and the earth. Long Fei was not afraid. But what about the people around him? Moreover, just what kind of existence was the tower question of God? Long Fei was not clear about this, but he had already provoked the three great powers of Hellgate, Bounty Gate, and Heavenly Alliance sect. If he added the tower question of God, then there would be no place for them in the entire Chaos realm. His guild wanted to level up and to become stronger. The most basic point was to avoid war. There must be some time for them to recuperate so that the guild could reach rank 10 as soon as possible. Then, they could activate the teleportation function and teleport all the dragon ancestral beings from God's martial continent over. In those women, the time laws of Chaos Realm and his were different. How much time does God's martial continent have in a year? Moreover, had Hanba left 3 years of training, what did the gods' martial continent become now? How did Lu Luashi and the others become? Long Fei really wanted to know. Therefore, for now, the tower question of God could not be easily provoked. Of course, this was under the condition that the other party did not want to provoke him. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.